We had a couple additional budget meetings, and then we came up with our draft 4 of the budget, where we reduced our supply lines by 25%, and we reduced 6 FTEs across mostly elementary and ELL departments due to declining enrollment and students testing out of needing support. So that got us down to $103.7 million. And then on March 12th, we brought our draft 5 budget, and that was an additional 8.5 FTEs, primarily at the high school and with some of our administrators. And then we reduced the insurance lines commensurate with the number of FTEs that we had to reduce. Again, trying to ensure that we provide the same support and programs, but just making adjustments due to our enrollment, declining enrollments, and making sure that we find as many efficiencies as we can. So the draft 6 budget, which you see here tonight, is $101,967,320. And the way we got there from draft 5 to draft 6 was we had some non-salary offsets that we were able to take on, and we were able to add 2 paras to one of our schools, an elementary school that has a large special ed population. We wanted to make sure we were able to provide that there. So overall, our reductions are about $3 million from where we began, and we see a reduction of 12.7 FTEs compared to last year. So I want to get a little bit into sort of what this means and how we're able to support our students moving forward. On the left side of this slide, you see the budget that was voted last year with $38 million coming from the state and the additional $60.9 million coming from the city. This year, we have $39 million coming from Chapter 70, and the city has increased their allocation by $2 million to $62.9 million, and that's where we get that total of 101 that we'll be asking for a vote tonight. Our total number of FTEs are full-time equivalents, and so our full-time staff members, 821 last year, 808.3 this year. And so, you know, as we look at this at a glance, this slide tells us a little bit about where we were last year, $99 million, to what we're asking the school committee to vote on this year, which is 101.9. Our increase was 2.9 million, about 2.94%. And so of that, the $2.9 million increase, 1.2 is in salary. So that's for our teachers and staff, their salary increases that come in. And 1.7 is in non-salary increases. And one of the biggest struggles that we're having this year is an inordinate amount of increase that we get from health insurance. And that is a bill that the city gets that we're required to pay in order to maintain our benefits for our staff. And of the $2.9 million increase, 1.3 of that is just for employee health insurance. And that is a necessary bill that we have to pay, and it is a necessary part of our budget. We have another $326,000 for special ed tuitions, $292,000 for our transportation, which is not salary, it's our contract that we have to provide busing for our students. And then we have $67,000 in other non-salary. So I've listed on here where in the budget book you can find each of these things, and we can go through and look at that. And then we did make some reductions, and so we made some reductions to supplies. We made reductions in our utility line by taking an offset from the PASO's account, and we made some reductions in technology. Overall, those non-salary reductions were $313,000, and that helped us to balance the budget. As we look at our total budget, the graph on the left is $101.9 million. Most of that is our employee salaries. So 65% is made up of employee salaries, and 34% is made up of non-salary. So that might be supplies, materials, transportation, tuitions for students who are out of district, health insurance, employee benefits, and things like that. So those are considered non-salary. As you look at the increase from last year to this year, the $2.9 million, the graph here on our right shows that the vast majority of our increase is from non-salary, and that's really that health insurance increase and transportation that we have. If we look at the overall budget, this slide is a little tough to see, but 50% of our salary comes from teachers, right? So that's half our salary goes to teacher salaries, which is where the majority of our salary should go, to the people who are in front of our students who are doing the hard work each and every day. The next biggest slice of the pie is the employee benefits. 15% of our salary is going to health insurance and employee benefits. 8.1% of our budget goes to out-of-district tuitions, students who have significant needs that we're unable to educate. It might be medical needs or other needs, and we provide support for them to go to out-of-district placements. And then following that, we have student transportation is 5.2%. We have our leadership is about 4%. Other staff, about 4%. And our educational technology, 1.4%, and instructional materials, about 1.3%. So we have this breakdown of our overall budget based on these categories. And so as we wrap this up, you know, we wanted to kind of take a step back and look at, you know, this visual that we have here is sort of our model of the schoolhouse. We want to create a culture of learning. We want to make sure that kids have access to complex text, that we have high-quality questions and tasks, and that ultimately our students own their learning. And so despite some difficult reductions this year, this current budget that we have proposed allows the Peabody Public Schools to continue with the programs and services while focusing on meeting the holistic needs of our student population. So things that we did not want to reduce were things like mental health support for our kids, extracurriculars, and things like that. So one thing that I want to bring up tonight is there's been a lot of talk recently about, just really in the past 24 hours, about our performing arts program. And I want to assure everyone here in the audience and in our community that we are fully supporting all of the programs in the performing arts. There is some restructuring going because we did have a retirement of our performing arts director. And our director is an administrator who also teaches. It's the last position like that we have in the district. And so we're looking to restructure. When I sat down with our director, who is an amazing human being and has been referred to as a unicorn because you're not going to find anyone like that, I realized all the tasks and responsibilities that this one incredibly talented and passionate individual has. And we realized that one person can't fill that role. So what we're attempting to do, and in this budget, all of these things will be covered. The administrative side of this work, the teacher evaluations, the ordering of supplies, will be delegated among other administrators. Those administrative tasks that pull this person out of the high school and into other locations will be covered by other administrators. The things that affect our students are not being cut. We are looking to bring on additional personnel to replace this in the teaching realm. So our current director teaches 2 classes. We're looking to bring in a department head to oversee fine arts and performing arts to be able to provide some of that oversight, which is one of the many things that the director does. But we know that whoever we bring on can't do all of the things. So we're looking to do a team approach. One person will be doing a department head position. We'll be bringing in a teacher to do the very important work of teaching the advanced choir class and being the chorale director and providing all of that out of school things. So the person who is going to be teaching, similar to stage 1, our theater department, similar to our band director and band department, will be full-time at the high school, and our students will have access to that person. They will not be pulled away from the students at all. And so our hope is that through many different people, we'll be able to cover all of the needs, and our students will have more people to go to. So if I could use a performing arts analogy, very few people can do a one-man show and be on Broadway and be amazing. And it takes a very special person. And that's what we have in our performing arts director, someone who has the chops to do a one-man show. But as we see from our very talented stage 1 production, it takes an entire cast and crew to put on an award-winning performance. And that's what we're committed to next year, is bringing on an entire cast and crew, bringing on a lot of people. Many hands make light work. We want to support our kids. We want to make sure that they have what they need and that none of the programs that they participate in will be reduced. It's going to take a lot more people to do the work of this one amazing individual, but we are committed, and there is funding in this budget to make sure that happens. And so we have a lot of people here tonight, and I'm so proud of them, and I'm so proud of the work that they do. We want to hear from you, and we want to hear from that. And please know we are committed to providing those continued supports from you, and this budget will not cut those supports. And you have our assurances. We have a mayor and a school committee here who are committed to the Performing Arts Department, and they will make sure that we continue the success. And our director will be with us. He will be here and doing some consulting work for us, some mentoring work, shepherding in the next generation of talent that we will bring to make sure that we continue the great work that you're all doing. So after public participation, we will ask for 2 votes from the school committee. First is a motion to approve the salary line and the number of the salary line, and the second motion will be to approve the non-salary line and the amount of that. So that is up here, and after public participation, we can bring this back up, but I want to turn it back over to the mayor to be able to address some of the things and then open it up to public participation. Mr. Mayor?
All right, thank you, Dr. Vidala. We're going to go to public participation in a moment. I have a couple of comments. After we do public participation, then we're going to open it up to the school committee members for a discussion and potentially a vote. So, but just to join what Dr. Vidala was saying, you know, I've been mayor now 15 years. I've gotten to see so many amazing performances, Stage 1, Full House, Chorale. I want to stress the importance of what the performing arts community, all of you, I know many of you, I've seen many of you perform over the years, and each of you have brought a great deal of pride to our community. And I'm sorry that this may have caused some anxiety or anger or frustration, but none of us here were looking to cut any programs, to cut any of the work that you do. The amount of smiles that you bring to people in our community and to our schools matter, and they've made a difference over the years. These are some difficult times. There's a lot going on in the world. Our performing arts community brings some happiness and brings some smiles to all of us in the community that need it. And this was never anywhere on the table in terms of any cuts to any of the core essential work that takes place at the high school, performing arts, and all of you. So we did look at ways to potentially restructure, and we thought, because Mr. Simmons is so valuable and so incredible and has so many responsibilities, we thought that maybe taking some of that off the new person coming in would be the way to go here. Take some of that administrative responsibilities off that person, have some other people help us, help the department, and then really allow the teacher to focus on teaching and working with the chorale and being the music director and all of that, we thought was the way to go. And I'm sorry if that kind of got some people concerned, because the last thing we want to do is you know, certainly upset our students during these days as they're wrapping up. Many of you are going to be graduating. But all of us, I think I can speak for everybody. I try not to do that because all of us have differing opinions. But on this particular one, all of us are very much aligned with the fact that we cannot take away the programs that we have here in our schools. Again, performing arts is essential. The pride that you brought to the city is real, and it's mattered. And you know, we all factored that in during these discussions and we thought this could be a better way, you know, to help. But I certainly don't want that to take away or cause anybody to think that we're looking to cut programs and things like that. So, but we want to hear from you. A number of you came to speak. We want to take that opportunity now in public participation. Anybody that would like to speak, we're here. Trying to keep it to a few minutes each speaker, but we definitely want to have everybody heard. So I'd ask anybody that would like to come up and speak to come up here, the table, the microphone. There's a button on the right to speak, and if you could just say your name, introduce yourself, and then please, we want to hear what you have to say. So we'll open it up now. Yeah, we cannot respond until the end, and that's when we can get into our discussion. At this point, we want to listen to any comments that are made by anybody who would like to speak, and then at the end, we can start to address maybe some of those questions or concerns. But we have to wait until the end under our rules. So, yeah, please, if you'd like to come forward. And again, if you could just please introduce yourself, maybe name and the year you graduated, something like that.
Hello, my name is Will Watson. I'm a member of the Veterans Memorial High School graduating class of 2025. It has come to my attention that with the retirement of the current performing arts director, John Simmons, the position itself may be eliminated by the city. When an overseeing position like this is eliminated, it can happen that the same level of advocacy, attention, and care are not retained due to the programs being made a smaller part of a larger department. And given the advocacy, attention, and care the performing arts programs received under Mr. Simmons, I'm concerned that the health of these programs may be diminished moving forward. So I'm here today, proactively, to advocate for the future of the performing arts in the Peabody schools. During my years at the high school, I was a member of the chorale, drama club, and Full House a cappella. These groups allowed me to cultivate skills I would not have developed otherwise. These skills, such as disciplined work ethic, public speaking, and effectively working within a group, are skills I use every day. As I finish my first year at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, majoring in philosophy, pre-law, playing rugby, and singing in the UMass Chamber Choir, I am constantly and consistently reminded of how grateful I am for the performing arts programs which were offered to me at the high school. In preparation for today, I took a look back at Peabody's vision of the graduate: pathfinder, effective communicator, global thinker, problem solver, artist, innovator, team player, and self-manager. 7 attributes which have been agreed upon as meaningful measures of a successful education. Part of the Pathfinder attribute is creating and implementing a life plan of short and long-term goals. To learn music, one must create and implement a plan to practice, improve, and in many cases memorize in preparation for a performance. Part of the global thinker attribute is embracing diverse perspectives and cultures. Music is often described as a universal language, and as such, it spans an innumerable variety of cultures. I have performed music in languages ranging from Latin to Swahili, and the study of this music has allowed me to connect with cultures which are otherwise beyond the scope of my experience. The artist innovator attribute is described as expressing thoughts, ideas, and emotions meaningfully through the arts. Not only have I been able to express myself through the arts, I have discovered parts of myself that were previously hidden to me. I'd also like to share a quote from my dad. He is the principal trumpet of Symphony New Hampshire. He has performed and recorded with many prestigious groups such as the Boston Symphony, Boston Pops, and the Seussical Pit Orchestra at Peabody High. When asked about the value of musical education in our schools, my father replied, "I see the power of music education not in the music learned, but in the skills developed when music is studied. When I teach young trumpeters, I am teaching our future judges and journalists, counselors and comics, pilots, politicians, police, and parents. Most kids who learn to play an instrument won't go on to have careers in music. But when I meet my surgeon, I want to know that she played the viola in high school." So, when facing this decision, I implore you to consider the importance of the arts and the formative lessons learned from the cultivation of a musical mind. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Please, Mr. Haas.
I'm not sure I can top that, that's for sure. So my name is Mike Hawes. I live in Groveland, Mass. on 7 Murray Ave. So good evening, Mayor Betancourt, Dr. Vidala, and members of the school committee. I have had the honor of being the PFT president for about a year now. My goal in my first year was to visit schools and to meet as many members as possible. So tonight, I am like the Lorax of the educators, as many are afraid to tell the truth about what is going on as they fear retaliation. Another budget season has come and gone when no one has asked the teachers and the paraprofessionals what we need. What many of the principals have told you about what is happening in the schools is not exactly the case. Teachers and paras are worn out and they feel a lack of support. I know I mentioned this last year, but again, this district is top-heavy, where people do overlapping roles with many members do not actually know what some administrators do. I'm not speaking for all administrators, as we have some great leaders in this district, but some are so overbearing and micromanaging that teachers are suffocating. Now, we understand that last year, this year, and next year have and potentially will be difficult budget seasons, but teachers are the ones that face the brunt of it in the school department. As a collective, we made a health insurance agreement with the city that has cost people to negate raises for 2 years, but still there are cuts. We even watched a vote to cut 4 high school teaching positions during Teacher Appreciation Week while adding an administrator to the center school. We know that some of these cuts are related to class size, but we could argue that classroom and student behavior has changed since 2020. When I first started, I used to have classes of 30, which I managed. Now classes of 15 or 20 are difficult. With state laws changing, we hear that it is difficult to suspend or remove students from classes, but this has led to, on the ground level, is not every student every day, but every disruptive student every day. Because frankly, we don't get the support we need. Many students are also misplaced, which has caused another disruption. So just like last year, as we are asking you to rethink the cuts of these front-facing teachers, as we are with the students on a daily basis, and we are the ones that have a true impact on their education, mental health, and their safety. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Huss. Welcome.
All set? There we go. I thought I couldn't hear my own voice. Good evening. My name is Tijan Kamara. I am a Peabody High alum, and I was a member of the Stage 1 Drama Club, Full House, and the Concert Choir. I understand that at this moment, the Vocal Arts Department and the position of Performing Arts Department Head are not being removed, but instead restructured. That being said, vocal arts programs are among the most commonly cut in school districts, and I believe it is important that we are all cognizant of why this should and cannot be in Peabody. I also believe we, as a community, need to ensure that the reorganization of the role doesn't result in a loss in any of the following qualities that the vocal arts and performing arts departments previously had. Mr. Simmons and the other performing arts faculty members have worked incredibly hard to make the vocal arts opportunities at Peabody High a free, all-inclusive, and educational environment. During my time at Peabody High, not only did I feel that my inclusion in the department benefited me socially, but I also felt that it bolstered me with the skills I would need as an adult in performing arts, in a political climate that often discourages freedom of speech and equality. Removing the position in question would result in the loss of an entire third of Peabody High's performing arts department and would leave many students without a community where they truly felt safe and at home and without that vital bolstering of skills. Additionally, the lack of a department head would leave the rest of performing arts without a way to advocate for themselves, most notably about funding. While none of the 3 groups would be entirely wiped out by the lack of proper funding, they would absolutely be noticeably weakened. Performing arts isn't merely a subject that aims to make people smile. Erasing an entire sector of Peabody High's performing arts department would be a direct attack on the capacity of young adults to speak up and would significantly reduce the ability of the groups to reach the heights they have in the past. Today, we need more than ever the ability to advocate for ourselves and what we believe in. Today, when people everywhere are being terrorized for their differences, we can't afford to restrict what avenues are available for people who are quote-unquote different. Today, the practices and protections afforded by the entire performing arts department, but especially the vocal arts, are perhaps the most important that we preach, as they are actively ensuring that our community stays a welcoming and a liberating one. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you left it on for me.
Ms. Manning.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephanie Manning, and I'm the theater teacher and director at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Visual and Performing Arts Department, and this is my friend, Melissa Silvera, who is also here on behalf of the Visual and Performing Arts Department at PVMHS. We are also here in support of the many students who stand behind us, deeply concerned about what their educational experience will look like for the future as Mr. Simmons departs on his next endeavors. While I appreciate the Facebook posts and emails sent out to reassure Peabody families that the performing arts are alive and well, there remains a significant lack of clarity regarding how these programs will realistically continue in their current form, and I believe those questions need to be addressed. First, I want to address the proposed restructuring of the choral director position. This raises serious concerns, not only about staffing, but about the value we place on music education within this district. Choir is not simply an extracurricular activity. It is an academic course that meets once a day, 5 days a week during the school day, and requires the same level of preparation, instruction, assessment, and educational expertise as any other course offered in our schools. In addition to directing choir, this position's course load also includes AP Music Theory, one of the most rigorous and specialized academic offerings at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. We have been told there will still be a choir position next year. I recently learned that we're going to get a full-time choir position next year. However, the budget proposal does not clearly reflect that statement. Will this be a stipend position or full-time? What does a stipend-based choir position actually look like? How will the course structure change? Who will teach these classes during the school day? Right now, those answers remain vague and unclear. Any change to a daily choral rehearsal during school hours is a cut to the vocal music program. It will, in fact, compromise the integrity of the ensemble and our department. This is not supporting the arts. What is specifically troubling is that the stipend associated with the choir director position was never intended to compensate someone for daily teaching classes and sustaining an entire choral program. It exists to compensate for the additional responsibilities outside of the school day. Concerts, festivals, rehearsals, performances, travel, community events, and the countless hours of preparation that accompany a successful music program. Our current average performing arts stipend is $2,100. Broken down across a school year, that stipend amounts to roughly $11.67 per day. To suggest that this is somehow a possibility of replacing a teaching position is not only unrealistic, it is irresponsible. You cannot simply hand a stipend to someone and expect the integrity of an award-winning chorale program to remain intact. A successful choir director must possess specialized musical training, leadership skills, pedagogical expertise, and a long-term artistic vision. More importantly, they must be capable of sustaining the work that has already gone into building this program while continuing to grow it into the future. Peabody's choir program is an award-winning ensemble because of consistent leadership, educational excellence, and investment. Weakening the structure of this position sends the message that the arts are expendable and that decades of program building can be reduced to a vague stipend or an incredibly unclear plan. I also want to address the proposed and apparently possibly already voted on elimination of the Director of Fine and Performing Arts position. Many of the performances, exhibitions, and events our schools and city proudly celebrate exist because there is a dedicated administrator coordinating, advocating for, and sustaining this work behind the scenes. The choir, band, jazz ensemble, stage one performances, drama competitions, orchestras, graduation ceremonies, art exhibitions, and countless community events require leadership, organization, communication, budgeting, scheduling, and content-specific expertise. These are the same programs the school committee has publicly praised us for years. If this position is removed, we must be honest about what that means. These opportunities may not continue at the same level, and some may not be sustainable at all. The district cannot remove the position responsible for supporting this work and still expect the same outcome. The responsibilities tied to the Director of Fine and Performing Arts are extensive and deeply specialized. This director does a lot more than ordering supplies. This role oversees classroom observations and evaluations, provides instructional coaching and leadership, and organizes and develops professional development, coordinates district-wide meetings, supports curriculum development, manages facility rentals, oversees purchasing and budgeting, supervises stipend positions, and coordinates schedules and promotes major city and school events ranging from the City Hall holiday concert and graduation ceremonies to public performances. The position also provides technical and logistics support in lighting, sound, scenic design, visual arts safety, studio management, and equipment maintenance. Beyond the performing arts, this role advocates and sustains visual arts education by supporting AP programs, ceramic studios, photography labs, programs and exhibitions, portfolio development, and stage studio practices. Be mindful that without this position, there will no longer be a dedicated administrator with the content knowledge necessary to understand and advocate for the highly specialized needs of arts education. This only represents a small portion of what this position truly entails. Our department has compiled a comprehensive list of duties and responsibilities, which we would be happy to share with you. Another major concern is the proposal to replace the fine and performing arts director with only a department head at the high school level and a team-based approach across the district. Respectfully, this is not an appropriate substitute for a district-wide leadership position. What is a team-based approach, and what does that actually look like in practice? Who is leading? Who is coordinating communication across schools, advocating for programs at the district level, overseeing curriculum alignment both vertically and within schools, supporting teachers, managing large-scale events, and handling budgets and facilities, and ensuring continuity and growth at all grade levels? Right now, those answers remain unclear. If we are being honest about the role this position plays, eliminating the director of fine and performing arts is equivalent to eliminating an athletic director position, while still expecting every sports program to function at the same level of excellence. What would happen to coaches if there was no coordinating schedules, advocating for resources, supporting programs, creating consistency, communicating across schools, and establishing a unified vision for athletics? Would we simply expect them to fend for themselves? Of course not, because we understand that strong programs require strong leadership. A director of fine and performing arts helps create and sustain a unified artistic and educational vision throughout the district. They connect elementary, middle, and high school programs so students experience consistent growth and opportunity in the arts from year to year, while also mentoring teachers through collaboration, professional development, and instructional leadership. This role is far more than administrative. It is the arts' essential seat at the table when budgets, staffing, curriculum, and long-term planning decisions are made. Without someone with the content knowledge and experience necessary to advocate for fine and performing arts programs, the district risks fragmentation, inconsistency, and burnout among educators, while the arts lose direct representation in future conversations and budget cycles. That should concern all of us in this room, because once the seat at the table is removed, it becomes significantly easier for arts programs to be overlooked, reduced, and deprioritized over time. I urge this committee to reconsider these decisions and maintain both the choir director and director of fine and performing arts positions in their current form so that future generations of students continue to have access to the high-quality arts education that has become a defining strength of this district. And finally, I want to make something very clear. I'm not sitting here tonight simply to defend John Simmons or his job. I am standing here to defend his legacy. Thank you.
My name's Melissa Guimarangs. I've been teaching at the high school since 2004, and I'm a product of the system because I graduated from there in 1999. And I'm coming from the Academic Awards night, which I saw some of you at, and I saw Mr. Simmons singing with his students very passionately and talentedly. And Miss Manning and I sat together quite a few times to pen what she had read to you, so there's not much more I want to add to that. What I do want to say is I'd like to bring some things to your attention that I bet most of you are not aware of. Did you know that our milestone paras qualify for Section 8, even if they work full-time? Did you know our library tutors qualify for SNAP, food stamps, if they work full-time? Did you know that the people who are working closest to your students qualify for Mass Health, even if they work full-time? These are the same people who have not gotten a raise since before COVID and have been told, kind of under the rug, to not bother asking for a raise. I bet a lot of you weren't even aware of that. That's all.
Thank you.
Hello, Peabody School Committee. My name is Reed Pimentel. I am currently a freshman at Peabody High. I care deeply for the performing arts. I was the one who started the petition to save Peabody High's vocal music programs. We have gotten, thank you. We have gotten over 2,000 signatures in a little over 24 hours, and it's rising as we speak right now. If this isn't proof of our community's care for the performing arts, I don't know what will be. I've noticed recently that less and less kids seem to be coming to Peabody High in favor of trade schools or private schools. We should be playing to the strengths of our school. Peabody High has an amazing performing arts program that draws many people to the school. I am one of them. After my first weeks at Essex Tech, I realized it was not my place due to the lack of a vocal performing arts group or many performing arts groups in general. That was the main reason I switched to Peabody High. Peabody High's vocal groups have won many awards, and through events like Music in Our Schools and the tree lighting ceremony, when we have been able to delight families across Peabody at no cost to the families watching. Also, through events like District Choir in all states, we have been able to share the spirit of Peabody to people across the state. We should be supporting the main factors leading to an increase in enrollment to our schools, not defunding them. Without a head of the music department for Peabody, we'll lose someone to plan these events to inspire the next generation of vocal singers for Peabody. I didn't know what choir was until 2nd grade. I saw Peabody High's choir perform at the Carroll Elementary School. It was my dream to join chorus after that very day. Although I missed my first chance to sign up in 4th grade due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I signed up in 5th grade and haven't looked back since. From Mr. V at the Carroll Elementary School to Mr. Stone at the Higgins Middle School, and now Mr. Simmons at the Peabody High School. I look up to all of them for pushing me to improve and become a better performer. A department head would help us to be able to inspire more kids just like me. And the lack of a department head would not only affect vocal performances, but our Stage 1 drama club and band. So to wrap this up, I'd please ask you to reassess the budget, hire a full-time qualified choir teacher, and give us a head of the music department for Peabody. And this isn't on my script, but I'd like to say that the people here, some of the people who just walked in, literally came from a Full House performance, which I sadly was not able to audition for because of my late joining, and ran here to be able to speak their mind about something that they hold so dear. So I think this program is one of the most important things in our school. Thank you for your time.
That's a hard one to follow. My name is Janine Goggin, and I'm a graduate of PVMHS, class of 2018. I will say I wrote this up thinking that the whole department was going to be, the whole vocal arts was going to be gone, but I still think it's important to say and to speak up for the arts. So I was a former member of mixed chorus, chorale, and the a cappella group Full House. I was also a 3-sport athlete in high school, contributing to division wins in softball and volleyball for Peabody High. Athletics taught me a lot, teamwork and work ethic, and I value those deeply. But the discipline, accountability, and lifelong connections I built through the music department were even stronger, something I myself didn't even expect. Vocal programs required constant preparation, commitment, collaboration, and resilience. Those lessons stayed with me far beyond high school, and those lessons came from the department head of visual and performing arts, Mr. John Simmons. Today, I work as a physician assistant in inpatient oncology at Dana-Farber, caring for critically ill patients with leukemias, lymphomas, and those undergoing stem cell transplants. In my profession, focus, memory, communication, and problem solving are essential every single day. Now, what could that have to do with singing in high school, you might ask? Well, my research consistently shows that music education strengthens exactly those skills, while also improving academic performance, attendance, and graduation rates. But beyond academics and career success, these programs give students something just as important: belonging. Chorus and the arts create community, confidence, identity, and emotional support for students that may not find that elsewhere. Like I said, I understand that the programs are not being cut, but the arts are always the first thing to take a hit, and I think I can speak on behalf of everyone here when I say that we're tired of it. And I want to acknowledge this clearly. If this discussion were about cutting any athletic programs or the athletic director position, there would be overwhelming opposition from a lot of you guys right now. In fact, I don't even think we'd be having this conversation. I recognize the value sports brings to students, the teamwork, discipline, school pride, and the connection they create. Again, I was a student athlete, but let this be loud and clear, the arts deserve that same respect and protection. Not every student connects through athletics. I was lucky to be involved with both, but for many students, music is their team. That's where they feel seen, supported, and motivated to come to school. I understand the financial pressures facing the district, but cutting the vocal or arts programs or the administrative position that advocates for them is not removing an extra. It's taking away opportunities that directly improve students' education, mental health, personal growth, and future success. In full honesty, anyone who agrees to that plan without really thinking through what the effect it'll have on the actual students doesn't care for the students in the way they say they do. So I urge you to all think these decisions through, think about all the people it will affect, and please protect that music, the people who teach it, and the budget that supports it for the students who need it most. Thank you.
Thank you, Janine. Welcome.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Leah Blanco. I am in the 7th grade course at Higgins Middle School. I'm also in select choir and drama club. Today, I would like to talk about why I'm here. I am planning to go to Peabody High in about a year and a half, and basically, I want to share my story. I've been singing for about 6 years, since I was about 7 years old, and I'm about to be 13, and I have really bad anxiety, and I've been always scared to put myself out there and put myself in a choir, and so I always just record myself singing all the time, and I would never share it to anybody. But when I actually tried to put myself out there one time, people thought singing was weird, corny, and then I took that personally, and I would refuse to put myself out there. I refused to look at myself in the mirror because I thought singing made me look ugly. So then I took it really personally. But then as soon as I joined chorus in the 6th grade, it literally changed my life. I actually felt like I belonged, and I felt normal because I also got made fun of the way I sung because I am a female tenor, and there wasn't a lot of girls back then that sung as deep as me. So yeah, and as soon as I joined chorus, it changed my life, and it made me feel like I belonged, and I felt normal. I also didn't have a lot of friends back then, and all the friends that I made so far are from chorus. These activities help people branch out and reduce anxiety, and it surrounds them with good people. For example, I met a girl at a collaborative concert that actually made me actually be happy and put myself out there more. She was also a female tenor, by the way, and she was just amazing and changed my life and everything. She made me feel like I belonged, and she was just amazing. Also, these hobbies changes people's life and everything, and it's a big part of other people's lives, and people look forward to performing arts every single day, and it's great that we even have it. Everybody's grateful for it. We have amazing staff that literally change our lives and make us feel like we belong, and yeah, and we just found out about yesterday, in the last 24 hours, that they were planning to cut course, which I know is not happening anymore. But I hope we could protect the arts, protect the music, and I don't want the people at the high school right now, due to Mr. Simmons' retirement, I don't want them to be sad that Mr. Simmons is leaving. I hope they're not. And I just hope we could protect the arts for them, and for the people in the future, I hope we could keep the arts like me. In the future, I might come to Peabody High. I'm still planning to, but I hope the arts can be protected. Don't let the outlet disconnect, because chorus, Peabody High without chorus is like eating a cone without ice cream. But yeah, thank you for your time, and thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Allie.
Hi, my name is Allison, and I've been an active member of Peabody Performing Arts for the past 4 years, acting as a member of concert choir, Full House a cappella, and serving as co-president of Stage 1 Drama Club. I know today we got a lot of answers while I wasn't here, but there's still some things that are unclear, so I'm just going to share what I know is true. To cut to the chase, Peabody vocal music changed my life. I entered Peabody High School as a 3-sport athlete and someone who never thought she'd be a performer. Throughout my freshman year, I was constantly made to feel like an outsider in all aspects of my life. That was until I found performing arts. Peabody vocal music taught me so much. I learned not only the core basics about music theory and history, but I also learned so much about peer collaboration, which just so happens to be a primary focus at Peabody High this year. Every day in chorus, I'm collaborating with my peers. Choral music is dependent on having a strong ensemble with a unified sound. This not only forces us to listen to the other people around us, but it also teaches us strong lessons about accountability. If you don't know your part, it messes with the integrity of the whole group. Outside of class, concert choir performs at a plethora of different events. All year long, we perform at school and even citywide events. From Christmas caroling to graduation, freshman orientation to inaugurations, Peabody vocal music students can be heard in all corners of the city. With audiences ranging from preschoolers all the way to senior citizens, our outreach on the community is one that will be missed. Additionally, we stand as a strong representative of our school district doing yearly concerts with Danvers and Beverly. In Full House a cappella, all of these things can apply. Being seen as a more advanced group, we often collaborate more, creating fun group stage pictures and choreography. With collaboration aside, though, Full House has given my peers and I once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. My sophomore year, we had the chance to perform on the Boston Calling stage with former Peabody High student Justin Clancy. This gave us professional performance experience, and it was also one of the coolest things ever. While working with Clancy, he often said how professional we were as a group, and also how he wished he was a member of vocal music at his time at Peabody. This year, we were asked to perform backup vocals for the International Portuguese Music Awards. This was another professional experience, but it was also something that was aired on international television. Quite frankly, few other programs at the school have such opportunities available to students. To reiterate my major points, vocal music at Peabody High has become more than a class or even an after-school club. It has taught me a lot about peer collaboration and accountability. It has given me the opportunity to perform on a local but also international level, and it has given me lifelong friends. Actually, no, not friends. It's given me a family. Thank you for allowing me to speak here tonight.
Thank you, Allison. Welcome.
Alrighty, running here took a lot out of me, so forgive me for that. Hello, my name is Miles Fitzgerald, and I am one of the many students that attend Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. I want to keep this brief because there are many people that want to speak today, so forgive me for being critical too fast. Firstly, I'm relieved to hear that circa this afternoon, the information that our concerns would allegedly be dispelled and that an arts department head leadership position along with a chorus teacher would be present in the 2026 to 2027 school year. However, I am reluctant to instill my full hope and belief into these claims until my peers and I see the results. In addition, unfortunately, I am still gripped with an uneasy feeling regarding this entire situation, which is why I'm voicing out today. Regardless of the outcome, what has been created by this event is a large amount of concern and fear that quickly consumed a large amount of students, alumni, and parents regarding a lack of security in our arts program at the school. And this is what I'm sincerely disappointed in. As the school board, it is among your responsibilities to properly protect and ensure the education and stability of the Peabody school system and its students. The entire situation, if briefly, jeopardized that. And as you can see by the large number of my peers in attendance with me today, social media uprise and petition that I have quite recently learned has now reached over 2,000 signatures has caused quite the commotion. However, to be fair, there will always be a performing arts community within Peabody Public Schools regardless of any vote held ever. I understand that we are all uniquely advantaged to be human, and with that comes the unalienable right to make mistakes. But this instance caused a large uproar of discontent within the student body, a feeling I hope will not be felt again at the hands of this lovely local government. I hope to only be back to sing for you all with these beautiful people behind me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Miles. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Caroline Sargent, and before I start my speech, I would just like to thank everybody who came out here to help with this entire cause. It means a lot to all of us. Thank you all for granting me this invaluable opportunity to address you today. It carries profound significance for all of us to advocate on behalf of this exceptional program, and I really do hope you keep the students in mind when making these decisions. Excuse me. For more than 8 years, I have been a proud and dedicated member of the Peabody Performing Arts community. As I prepare to graduate, I depart with an overwhelming sense of gratitude. These programs have provided me with a true sense of belonging and have illuminated aspects of my identity I never anticipated discovering. like my love for opera, which I plan to pursue at my dream college. Without the music program, I would feel abjectly adrift. It has served as my sanctuary for genuine, unfiltered self-expression. Through the art of singing, I have cultivated meaningful connections, not only within our school, but throughout the broader musical industry. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Music has instilled in me an unwavering sense of discipline, deep belonging, and authentic community. We unite to produce a single, harmonious sound, propelled by our collective passion and love for the craft, despite our differences. This is far more than a mere extracurricular privilege. It constitutes a vital and indispensable cornerstone of our education. The program has unveiled extraordinary opportunities I never could have imagined would be possible for me. We performed on stage at Boston Calling, performed to a worldwide audience at the Portuguese International Festival, and participated in numerous other prestigious events that otherwise would have remained beyond our reach. Our director, Mr. Simmons, has been an exemplary mentor and guide, imparting the virtues of rigorous discipline through music and revealing the transcendent power of song. Though words may fail to fully capture its essence, for me and many other students, the students that you can see here today, music has and always will be our raison d'etre, our reason to be. It has profoundly shaped my character in ways I will cherish and carry with me throughout my life. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Caroline.
My name is Catherine Kresma, and ladies and gentlemen of the school board, you might recognize me for speaking to you at school committee meetings with regards to the student life, but today I am here representing something else. Today I'm representing where my life has been for the past 4 years. My family, vocal music. When I came in my freshman year, I found myself playing football, but being 5'0", playing football against guys double my height kinda stinks. After I realized this, I felt kind of lost, and I felt lost for a little bit until I was in my medical assisting classroom and a fairly tall man who was bald with a tie walked in. That was Mr. Simmons. He came in and told me that after seeing my audition for Full House, he thought that it'd be a good idea if I entered in the honors music program. I reluctantly went to my friends, panicking, not knowing what would happen, but they insisted on me doing it, and I did. Going into that part of my life, I did not think I would get the horizons that would eventually follow. After what would follow is Boston Calling, as aforementioned, but also something within me that I didn't think I could quite reach. I'm Portuguese. I've been Portuguese my whole life. I don't know if you guys needed to know that, but I've never been in touch with my Portuguese side. It's always been like an afterthought. It has always been below me. And recently when we performed at the Portuguese Awards and Festival, I recently got in touch with myself. Without that, without vocal music, I would not be in touch with my Portuguese side or any bit of my culture. So I think my love for my culture and my love for music with this program. I also found my family. These people sitting behind me, I never thought would be what they are to me today. When I was on a football team, it felt great. There were a lot of good guys there that made me feel welcome. But again, being so small in such a big area with a big sports team, I always felt like I didn't fit in. And I came here and I felt like I fit in perfectly. And I feel like a lot of kids coming up might feel the same way. Getting rid of this vocal music program does not only get rid of kids like me having the opportunity to find where their place lies, but also it brings kids that might not be outsiders or might not fit in with the proper sports to an actual program that will teach them the values that sports holds. Budget cuts are brutal, but getting rid of a profound part of our community is not smart and not necessary and not needed. This program has built resumes for skilled and successful musicians, Broadway actors, and future politicians, such as me. This school board has built a purpose on collaboration, dedication, inclusion, and success. Vocal music holds these values to the highest degree. We collaborate by, as aforementioned, trying to create the best sound possible, listening to each other, and adapting to each other to, again, create the best sound possible. We are built on a common purpose, putting our best song possible forward and having fun as a collective. We are dedicated to our craft and the future of this program, clearly. Well, there is nobody that cannot be in vocal music, even a lost football player with no purpose. When I came in, I could not have comprehended the emotion or the different values that vocal music would taught me. I didn't know how to read music when I came in. I probably still don't. But when I started at this program, there was a source of learning. And although reading music is not important to the average person, the emotion and the purpose that it teaches is. Peabody is built on tradition. And I look back at my grandfather's yearbook from 1969 and see Peabody's vocal music program. So why get rid of tradition? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Catherine.
Hello, my name is Madeline Talbot. I graduated from Peabody High in 2022, but I didn't always go to didn't always go to Peabody High. I started my high school at Essex Tech. I was drawn to Essex Tech because there were people who came in and they said, if this is going to be the best college preparatory school that you can go to, why go to Peabody when you can go here? We all know that that is wrong, right? My journey with music is what brought me back here. My whole journey started at Center School, where I was in the chorus and then eventually the all-city chorus. And that's really what kind of started to get me confident with music. That being said, I have heard no mention about how the elementary school programs will be affected by Mr. Simmons' departure, something that I know he cared about deeply, and that's when I met him. I was in all-city chorus, which he ran for the fifth graders. So I do implore you guys to come up with a solution to make sure that those things stay in place. Obviously, we have amazing faculty who focus on that in the elementary schools already, but that is something that needs to stay. If not for my introduction to music then, I would not have had the confidence to keep going. My time primarily focuses on being an instrumentalist. I was mainly in band, but I needed to start building my confidence with vocal music. I tried it at Essex Tech. There's very little programs there. I'm obviously not the only person who got up here and talked about it today, but I did try. You know, I was in Glee Club, I did drama, it was horrible. It sucked, sorry. But the reason why I made the decision, despite my parents' approval, to come back to Peabody is for the arts. Not only to, be able to and sing, but also because I needed that in my life. We've all come up here and said about how important it is to us, but I'm going to be the brave person, and I know a lot of people will connect with this. It saved my life. I would not be here if I didn't come back to Peabody, and I wouldn't have had that strong feeling about it if it wasn't for music. Because not only did it give me an extra, class to do and something to do outside of school, it brought me an immense amount of community and commitment and passion. How do you harbor your passion when you're also academically driven? That's something that I have wrestled with my entire life. And from what I learned about coming back to Peabody, I needed to go to a college that had the same type of balance. So I committed to WPI because of the arts at WPI, obviously for the academics as well, but it is that is the reason. Now, I'm a recording artist on Spotify. Hey, check me out. But I'm also a master of biomedical engineering. And again, I will restate, I would not be here today, here in this plane of reality, if it was not for the arts. Now, I want to redirect your attention to the money, because we like to talk numbers here. We spent a fraction, and I would like to know what the fraction is, if anyone wants to say it during discussion, a fraction of over $8 million to send students to Essex Tech, among other places. We need to do a better job marketing our district programs and schools to college-bound students. Obviously, Essex Tech is an extremely important resource to people who are not going to college, but I was fooled. They lied to me, and they said, this is the best place for you to be. And it absolutely was not. Not only for the music, but also we offer so many more APs than they do. Like, it is we have a better school than they do for college-bound children. And that's true. Like, it's true. I can't stress that enough. And thank you. And it's my understanding that we pay kind of as like a bundle, almost like subscription to Essex Tech to send kids there. If there was less interest of college-bound students to go there, we wouldn't have to spend as much money. And we would get to put that money into the much-needed resources for our teachers, especially our paras. I was also a substitute teacher last summer for K through 8. And obviously the teachers that are here today have a lot more stories than I do. But just in that short amount of time, I realized how difficult it is to manage a classroom. They're not lying when they say that behaviors have changed since 2020. It's not a cop-out. Like, it is so true. And I couldn't believe my eyes. And the amount of times that I had been saved from basically a breakdown because a para came in and helped me manage the classroom, invaluable. The paras are tired. They are underpaid and overworked. I encourage you all to either volunteer shadowing or become a substitute teacher yourself for a little bit of time to see what they do. Be in that position before you cut their raises over and over again. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mateus Muniz. I'm a graduating senior at Peabody High. 12 years ago, I started singing in school choirs when I joined center school in first grade. And for the past 4 years, I've had the honor of singing with Mr. Simmons' mixed chorus, chorale, concert choir, and full house a cappella. Thanks to those choirs and his leadership, I've grown my skill in music to a professional level. I've been admitted to the MMEA district and all-state choirs, and I was offered admission to Berklee College of Music in Boston. A few months ago, Peabody's Full House a cappella group, as you heard from our choir, was given the unique opportunity to sing for the International Portuguese Music Award ceremony. According to one of the leads of that event, it streams to millions of viewers. When I heard that the little singing group in Peabody had landed such a high caliber gig, I was hopeful for the bigger opportunities that might come Peabody's way. The idea that Peabody's performers could be seen by more than just Massachusetts was incredibly exciting. But recently, I've been learning that those doors may be closing. Our director, Mr. Simmons, is taking a much-deserved retirement from his role as our director and his position from the Fine and Performing Arts District Head. Under his watch, leadership, advocation, accompaniment, and support, the choirs have performed and entertained for a plethora of events around the state, and the Stage 1 theater program has continuously succeeded, putting on award-winning shows, including last year's Drama Festival finalist win, marking a 3rd in a row. The performing arts scene is what makes up Peabody High's strength. We earn that strength, heart, and soul through what we've done as representatives of the school, and by extension, the city. Values of rigor, camaraderie, respect, and commitment are instilled in all of its members. Inclusiveness, kindness, and supportiveness defines our programs, but it's thanks to a qualified leader who lays the foundation for it to exist. Without a new, proper, and skilled director and district head, performing arts won't see any of the same success it did under Mr. Simmons' leadership. I've been told that according to our Mayor Betancourt, there's been a misunderstanding, that our vocal department will be okay, that other people will fill the shoes of certain responsibilities. But if performing arts isn't given a singular district head and choir director, someone as qualified and as supportive, someone to advocate for us at the superintendent's table, someone who will rally for us, represent us, and seek our success, someone to bring the great music to Peabody, then it is in jeopardy. The vocal division won't be okay. The program's success needs one strong voice to advocate for Peabody's prospects. Without one, Peabody's magnificent performing arts will take a hit. The prospect of choirs, the award-winning theater troupe, the spirited band, all the values it teaches students, and all the future it builds will be crippled. His role as our choir director and as our Fine and Performing Arts district lead needs to be filled by someone qualified, skilled, and knowledgeable full-time. Performing and fine arts is Peabody Public Schools' strength, heart, soul, and freedom. If it isn't supported next year by the shoulders of someone as strong as the man who carried it for decades, I'll mourn Peabody until the day I stop singing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Olivia Frederick. This is not my paper, this is my peer's, Kaylin Veltri, and she unfortunately could not be here today, but I felt it was important that her words were heard. Hello, my name is Kaylin Veltri, and I am a graduating senior of PVMHS, co-president of Stage 1 Drama Club, and a 2-year member of Full House. I am writing to you to advocate for the preservation of the vocal music program through filling Mr. Simmons' position next year. Several of our performing arts teachers have reported that Mr. Simmons' position as both high school choral director and district department head for the arts will not be filled following his retirement. This not only eliminates concert choir and Full House, but will lead to a significant decrease in the support for the other art programs in the city. Without money set aside in a budget for a choral director / district arts department head, not only will the vocal music community be disbanded, but funding for programs such as Stage 1, band, and the visual arts will be cut as well. While other current performing arts teachers have offered to take over temporarily, this is not fair to them or the students because they will have to take on more responsibilities outside of their areas of expertise, and the students will not be receiving the best choral education available because they do not have a teacher specifically trained in this field. And beyond just taking over Mr. Simmons' classes, there will be no one to advocate for the other arts programs for transportation to once-in-a-lifetime field trips, funding for new equipment for both performing and visual arts, and organizing student artists to perform at city events such as freshman orientation, graduation, inaugurations, school committee meetings during the Stage 1 musical, and various other concerts such as the beloved winter concert at City Hall with the professional Hillier Festival Orchestra. Cutting this program would not only take away students' abilities to receive a profound musical education, but it would also take away their found family that exists within the program. I have made some of my best friends through the vocal music program, and for that to be taken away from future generations would be a serious disservice to their Peabody High experience. Furthermore, vocal music teaches students communication skills, interpersonal cooperation, responsibility to work hard, and so much more. I implore you to preserve this program for the sake of the students and teachers of not only the vocal music department, but all participants in the arts as well as the school as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stella LeDuc, and I am a junior at Peabody High. To begin, I am upset to hear that there are plans that jeopardize the concert choir and Full House a cappella group next school year, the two vocal performance groups at Peabody High School, and that there is a plan to remove the position of performing arts director for all of Peabody. This plan was laid out in a proposed budget. To put it simply, vocal performance changed my life. The person I was before joining vocal music in the 7th grade is a completely different person than who I am today. And may I say, I have changed for the better. As I moved from elementary to middle to high school, my involvement in music grew, and with it, so did my confidence, empathy, and leadership. My life in high school has had its ups and downs, but even when I was at my lowest, I had concert choir and Full House as an outlet for my emotions and an escape from the stress of high school. Vocal music gave me a community of lifelong friends who I can say I love with all my heart and I will carry with me for the rest of my life. This community showed me so much kindness on the days that I needed it the most and brought me out of my shell that younger me used to hide in. The interaction between the arts across all Peabody schools is what made me who I am today. And I would also like to take this time to clearly break down the role of the head of the arts in Peabody schools, as there seems to be a misunderstanding about the significance of this role. This role is very important and complex. Without the role of the head of the arts, Stage 1, band, and visual arts will lack any advocacy for funding, organization for school and city art events, and any clear means of obtaining transportation for field trips. This does not only affect the high school, but rather the entire city of Peabody. Kids in the elementary schools will have reduced exposure to the arts with no funding, organization, or transportation for high school vocal music to reach the young kids. The failure to fill the teaching and district positions of vocal music prevents kids in the elementary and middle schools who are just like me when I was younger from finding new identity in themselves and growing. My growth for music was not just due to my passion and the community it gave me, but also because of the gift of having a skilled, organized, and kind teacher. And it is important for the school committee to not only keep the vocal programs at the high school, but replace Mr. Simmons' teaching position with an individual who is appropriately trained and qualified to run our programs at the high level of professionalism we have maintained for so many years, while also preserving the strong and beautiful community we have created. Moving away from my personal experience, I would like to highlight that this year, the school committee and the PVMHS administration have constantly emphasized the importance of collaboration. But I truly cannot fathom how cutting vocal classes and extracurriculars would improve collaboration. On the contrary, the high level at which vocal music currently operates at the high school is the most collaborative experience in all of high school. It has taught me to work with peers in my class, communicate with adults in a professional setting, and work with students outside of class. That last point is not only seen within concert choir's work inside of the Peabody community, such as music in our schools and the annual tree lighting, but also on a regional level. Concert choir has consistently sent a handful of kids to the Northeastern District Choir and the Massachusetts All-State Choir, myself included. These programs not only have taught me and many other students the skills of working with other people who we don't see every day, but these experiences are an achievement for all of Peabody. It is an honor to have students admitted into these programs, and the fact that Peabody has consistently sent students is reflective of our of our high level of professionalism and our technique. Our participation in these programs creates a positive image for all of Peabody that promotes our skill and collaboration. Along with these two prestigious programs, Concert Choir and Full House also engage in other collaborative and community-oriented events that are important to promote a positive image for Peabody to students and leaders from other cities and schools, such as our annual Community of Song in tandem with Beverly and Danvers vocal performance groups. It is imperative that everyone here today understands the weight of vocal music and that its removal is not only harmful to students who hope to participate in these programs, but also hurts the image of Peabody, an image that is crafted from the continued participation and success of our vocal performance groups. In addition to the collaborative programs and events, Concert Choir and Full House have had many other successes and opportunities that should be celebrated. The Concert Choir received a gold medal at MICA last year for our performance, which is the highest honor you can receive at the competition. Also last year, Full House performed at Boston Calling with the artist Justin Clancy. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the performers and brought so much joy to the crowds. Just this year, Full House sang at the International Portuguese Music Awards, which is a huge event that not only has a live audience of around 3,000 people, but was also later broadcasted internationally where countless other people watched it. This was such a fun experience and the audience absolutely loved it. Additionally, we represented Peabody as a whole at the American Federation of Teachers meeting a few months ago and sang for teachers from all over Massachusetts. Furthermore, every year, the Concert Choir performs at City Hall for the Holiday Pops concert, which is a service to the community and many people look forward to seeing each year, as well as the Mayor's inauguration, the holiday tree lighting, graduation, convocation, and countless other city and school events. But instead of being celebrated for these achievements and acts of service for Peabody, we are met with the possibility of no longer being able to participate in these activities. Our community involvement and the strong alignment between the arts in all of Peabody schools will dissolve with no director to oversee the programs, essentially destroying Peabody vocal music. The loss of Peabody vocal music would have devastating consequences to the community of Peabody and the crowds at professional music events who look forward to seeing performances from Peabody vocal students due to our high technique, unmatched collaboration and communication, and our kind, positive attitudes. Our performances would greatly be missed, and frankly, I am unsure of what our city and schools would look like without Concert Choir or Full House, or without these programs operating to the caliber at which they run at now. To end my speech, I would like to remind you all of 4 words that this committee claims to lead by. Every student, every day. So I implore you all to listen to the voices of us students whose lives have been and continue to be changed by vocal music and save Peabody vocal performance classes and programs. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Hi. I know you guys can't respond, but I just want to take a minute to say, as a Peabody educator, I am so impressed with all the kids who have come out and spoken. That's not an easy thing to do, and kudos to all you guys. I wasn't planning to speak, but I'm feeling a little inspired. I want to talk a little bit about the proposed cuts to the out-of-district funding for students in hopes that these placements simply will not be needed. I work directly with many of the students who are at risk of needing these placements, and I can tell you that it is already far too difficult for those students to get the support they need. These cuts risk making an already overwhelmed situation even more difficult, especially as our student population continues to present with greater needs each year. The reality inside our schools is challenging, and I know we are not the only staff facing these challenges in the district, and I know staff are tired. Staff are frequently placed in situations where they are trying to support students with very significant needs while also maintaining safety for everyone involved. I have personally been assaulted at work, and I have watched my coworkers and my friends be spit on, punched, kicked, bitten, touched inappropriately, have had their hair pulled, and more, all while continuing to show up every day because they care deeply about the students and want them to succeed. All right. Too often, after these incidents occur, staff are not asked if they are okay or what support they may need by any member of higher administration. Instead, the focus quickly shifts to what could have been done differently. While reflection and accountability are important and something I deeply believe in, that response can leave educators and the support staff who we rely on every day to keep kids safe feeling unsupported in extremely difficult working situations. Out-of-district placements are not a luxury. They are considered when a student's needs cannot safely or appropriately be met in district. Reducing funding for these placements raises serious concerns about whether students and staff will continue to receive the support and resources they need. These students deserve access to environments equipped to truly meet their needs. Staff also deserve to feel safe, supported, and valued at the work they do every day. Ignoring the seriousness of these challenges will not make them disappear. It will only lead to more strain from students, families, and school staff. I urge the committee to carefully consider the real impact these cuts could have on vulnerable students, dedicated educators, and the overall safety and well-being of our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello. My name is Andrew Santongo. I graduated from Peabody High 2012. I know some of the faces who are sitting in front of me today due to the fact that I've probably sang at most inaugurations for most events since 2012. But it was because of John Simmons, and I'm not a very huge speech person, but I like to tell a little story. So I grew up in a very uncommon household. I was born in Uganda, and coming into Peabody was a new thing to me. We came here in 2008. And when I came here, my first experience was amazing, from middle school to all the way to high school. But what really, really, really grasped my heart was the music department, the performing arts department, to the point when I was in middle school, as soon as I heard, do you want to read a book all day or do you want to join chorus? And I was like, chorus. And as soon as I jumped into chorus, I just instantly never left. And then when I got into high school, I wanted to continue that journey. But when I was transitioning to high school, I just didn't get the rhythm of it. I was getting in trouble here and there. My grades weren't going great. But music was A+. And the person who noticed this was Mr. Simmons. And to the point where my sophomore year, he told me, he was like, hey, if you want to join chorale, you have to do good in school, in the other classes. I buckled down the last 2 semesters. He sat down himself and helped me in some classes that he could. And I was able to pass all those classes. This is the power of an educator who takes out of his own time to help one specific student to get to a certain goal. Sure, maybe he needed basses in the choir, but still, it really motivated me to get to the next level, to the point where it taught me later in life, after I graduated high school, I transitioned into a life where I I didn't know, now I'm out of like the music world. What do I do? And I went back and I talked to him for a split second, and he was like, oh, are you doing music? And I was like, no. And instantly I was like, I gotta get back into it just because you asked. And from then on, I have not stopped. I've been making music all since I left high school. I love making music, and to the point, to his side of leadership, I've taken to that side of it and implemented to myself, to where I've taught all over in Massachusetts different dance classes. I teach hip hop as well, but I always use the structure of how he acknowledged the kids and the one-on-ones, and understanding how certain people are different and they need to be spoken to a different way. And he understood it to a T. And that is a very hard thing to do, and I try my best whenever I get a chance to teach students to implement that kind of energy. And I've always seen that it's brought me tenfolds, and as you guys can see, the man who's like brought all these students up, I graduated from 2012. I sat on my phone and I saw this, and I live in Boston. Something I was like, nah, I have to go and see what's up. And so this is how much I am dedicated to this town's performing arts program. So if you are planning to restructure it, yes, feel free, but at the same time, restructure it to a standard that is so high tier, because listen, Peabody has the most high tier performing arts program in Massachusetts. Personally, I think that, but I know for sure it does. I have talked to so many other people all over I've talked to so many artists, and I've seen or tested like their knowledge of music, of like, what do you know, the history of music. Compared to what I tell them, they're like, wow, how do you know all this stuff? Peabody High. So with that said, I just want to say thank you all for having me, and please keep the performing arts program as solid as it is right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Madeline Dennis, and I am a freshman at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. I wanted to take this opportunity to share my thoughts on the elimination of the Director of Performing Arts. I have been involved with chorus and the performing arts community since middle school, and am a proud member of the Performing Arts Department. I was very sad to learn that Mr. Simmons would be retiring from his position as choral director and director of performing arts, and learning that he will not be replaced in his position has upset me even more. Being in the choir has given me the opportunity to get involved with the community and make friendships that are rooted in our sense of unity. Just like the many sports teams and clubs that are offered at PVMHS, concert choir has given me a space to be myself and develop my own sense of expression. We've performed for the city of Peabody throughout the entire school year, and it is not only us that this change will affect. One of the best parts of the holiday season this year was getting to partake in the tree lighting ceremony and going caroling around various parts of Peabody with my fellow members of concert choir, and being able to perform for the public. Mr. Simmons' hard work and dedication to music education has made me a better singer and person, and I walk out of the chorus room every day proud of the work my peers and I have done. A qualified choral director is needed to keep the success and involvement of concert choir alive, and simply replacing the position with an available teacher wouldn't make the class as productive or advanced as it has been with an experienced chorus teacher. Without the Director of Performing Arts, we would not be able to partake in as many performances, concerts, and community events as we do now. While the vocal teacher position might be replaced next year, how can we be as involved without a director to oversee us? Without funding and advocacy, how long can these performing arts programs the city praises for their success and public appeal keep going? We need a director to keep these programs running, and not having one might work for a year or two, but problems will emerge after a long period without the position. The Director of Performing Arts position is one so vital to the arts in Peabody. I remember Mr. Simmons' involvement in our middle school concerts, where he would give us vocal coaching alongside the middle school director, Mr. Stone, and play the piano for our performances. Now that I am in high school, these involvements have shown up even more in my performing life. This March, I was a member of the Massachusetts Music Educators Association All-State Festival in Worcester, where I sang in the first annual high school treble choir, made up entirely of female singers. The Stage 1 Drama Club advanced to the 2026 Massachusetts Drama Festival State Finals, where we performed our production of A View from the Bridge in Boston. It was such a special experience for me, as it was my first Drama Fest, to participate in the festival. We also went on a trip to New York City, where I saw one of my favorite Broadway productions and got to meet the cast at a stage door. These events, as well as performances in the choral program, would not be possible without a head of the Performing Arts Department. The possible cut of the Director of Performing Arts also concerns me in the future of the arts program at the school. One of the biggest reasons I wanted to come to Peabody High was because of the incredible drama club and chorus. The cut of the Director of Performing Arts doesn't just affect the high school, but all of the performing and visual arts ensembles in the city. The elementary and middle school music and art classes, the Higgins Drama Club, and every other arts program in the city of Peabody will have no one to lead them. You can't eliminate the director of the program and expect the program to run itself. I wouldn't be the person, student, or performer I am today without the performing arts, and to see that go away would be unfortunate not only to me, but to every student whose life has been made better by the program. Thank you for your time and consideration of this issue.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Paul Dumas. I am a graduate of the class of 2002, and I went through the Peabody High Performing Arts program. And in my life, just a quick background, I have toured the world with singer-songwriter Ben Folds. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Toured the world, many countries. Thank you. And prior to that, I was also a music educator at the Pentucket School District from 2013 to 2016. And to this day, whenever anyone asks me who my biggest mentor is, I always say John Simmons, which is wild, right? My high school choir teacher. But I know this isn't about him, right? He has earned himself a great retirement. And I wasn't even gonna speak. I just, after hearing people talk, I do have a couple questions. One thing I think you guys need to remember, and I think you do know this, is that chorus, especially because it is during the school day, is probably the only place a kid can go where they don't need a pencil, they don't need a notebook, they don't need a baseball glove, they don't need a pair of soccer cleats. They can just walk into a room and instantly feel connection and feel a place of home. And they can walk out on day one, even if they're tone deaf, and feel something because they sing and experience something they've never done before. And that goes for the entire performing arts. But choir itself, you don't need anything. You don't need a trumpet, right? You don't need a costume, you know, for drama. And I did them all. But choir itself definitely saw the most interesting people because it was anyone who had nowhere to go. So I have some notes here. One thing I wanted to bring up was, as you guys have mentioned, the choir director isn't going away. However, the administration is going to be split up to other people, which sounds a lot to me like a stipend, and I haven't looked at the budget. I just showed up here because I saw it on Facebook. But it sounds like it's a $2,000 stipend. When I taught at Pentucket, I was the assistant band director there for 3 years, and my role was a stipend. It was a measly $1,500 a year, and so wasn't the choir teacher role as well. And I single-handedly saw that school district, who had an incredible, incredible music program, much like Peabody High Performing Arts Program, I saw it crumble beneath my very eyes. So I ask you, I heard you say John Simmons was a unicorn. I think you also all know that every single human that ever came out of the performing arts program here at Peabody High is also a unicorn. So I just beg of you, if that role is indeed a stipend role that's going to be shared by multiple people, I know you're already 6 steps into this budget, but I think you need to try harder and find yourself another unicorn, because if you don't, you're going to end up with a donkey.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, school committee members, and Your Honor, and Dr. Vidala. My name is Sean Fitzgerald. I am a proud Peabody High graduate of 1988. I played football and lacrosse and track. This isn't about football or sports versus performing arts. It's about doing our best to understand your budget. My son sent me a text last night and said, "Dad, when you get home, I have to talk to you." I thought, oh God, what's this? I get home and he says, "Dad, they're gonna cut the performing arts budget." And I said, oh, let me go online. Let me grab the budget. Let me look at the school committee's budget and see where the line is that helps me understand what's going on. I couldn't find it. It's not on our website. It's actually probably in the superintendent's office, because in Massachusetts, you have to, if you're having a public hearing on a budget, you have to post that budget 48 hours in advance so that the public can actually show up and have an intelligent conversation about what's in the budget. I couldn't do that. I had to get here early. Thank goodness the Peabody Federation of Teachers made me a copy of a slide. But I want to tell everybody what's in the line for the performing arts budget. I'm going to go back to FY25. We had 11 FTEs, full-time equivalents in that budget. We had $1,076,000. FY26, that was reduced to 10 FTEs, down to $1,060,000. And now in FY27, we're recommending another reduction down to 9 FTEs for a budget of $946,356. That's almost an 11% reduction. And by the way, that's the budget that we just got a summary of. This is the budget that you're going to vote on tonight, and you're going to cut almost 11% out of this budget. And this is year after year after year of attrition. You've hurt this department by making shifts. Now, this isn't about athletics or performing arts, but the athletics budget actually has gone up every year. In FY25, it was $960,000. FY26, $1,193,000. FY27, $1,257,000. If you look at your general administration, you've gone from $16,061,000 to $17,439,000. In FY27, $18,791,000. Now look, it's impossible to balance a budget. I have a great deal of respect for the school committee. Have you seen the students that you're producing? This is amazing. I have 3 of them in the school district, and I'm grateful. I am grateful for the time and effort you put into this, but please don't vote this budget the way it's presented. With all due respect, Dr. Vidalia, your words are important, and I want to hear them all day long, but your numbers are more important. And I need those numbers to look like your words. I need your commitment to look like you're going to fund dollar for dollar the unicorn that we have in this program. You need to back that up. You said just a few minutes ago that mental health support for our kids is one of your priorities. Did you hear what they shared here? This performing arts program isn't just about the magic that they create. It's medicine. It helps so many of our young children and young adults find themselves, give of themselves, serve the community. You've seen them all. Help them be as extraordinary as they need to be. We're all counting on you. We believe in you. We support you. Give them a little more support. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Welcome.
Do not disturb. Sorry.
How are we today? Just trying to make light of a situation here. So my name is Caroline Castro. I am a Peabody High School alum from the class of 2020, which is a long time ago, honestly, as I'm doing the math here. I've been involved in countless productions over the year. I've been probably around like 40, if we were to count from first, second grade to senior year of high school. I know the work that goes into making those productions work, the countless hours that are spent running a program, the time outside of normal school business hours to make a show happen. I've been behind the scenes. High school, for example, I would go to school at 7 a.m., not leave until 9 p.m. most nights, while also finding time to do my homework, while also finding other ways in which, okay, how can I improve my time management skills? How can I make a difference in the world? And I feel like being involved in not only the vocal music program, but also involved in Stage 1 and other activities, other extracurricular activities actually, has developed not only me, but everyone here into the person that they are today. And I feel like personally, and I apologize if I'm all over the place. I've been looking at financials all day, so my brain is a little white here. I'm a very, what I've learned throughout my time as a student, but throughout my time as performing for years, is I'm a visual learner. So to hear a budget take place, I need to see it on the big screen. Like, I'm looking at these numbers here and I can't make them out. Like, I'm trying to figure out, okay, 50% of teacher salary is going in one direction and then like 25% is going in another. I feel like in order to honestly get my approval or other people and other individuals in the room's approval, I need to see the long-term effects, the short-term effects. I need to see a whole breakdown of where this money is going from, what happens to the funding for performing arts, because I feel like when I graduated in 2020, I didn't think there was a lot of funding back then. And then COVID hit, and obviously things took a turn for the worse and vice versa. And I feel like for someone who maybe wasn't honest to herself and felt that I need to stick up for what's right, I really urge you to rethink this. As someone who works in the accounting field and who works in the auditing field, because I'm looking at a plan right now and I don't see a plan. I just see numbers. So I feel like in order to make this happen and for everyone to get on board, I think we really just need a full breakdown of what's to come here. I know how hard this is. Budgeting wise, I've dealt with it at work. I've dealt with it at clients, and it's tough. And looking at inflation now, things just are going to continue to rise. But there are ways in which we can make this work. And I think even just recently hearing that the athletic department, their budget is increasing probably more than 10% a year, but the performing arts is decreasing. That to me, I think we can figure something out here. And I think also for Mr. Simmons, he is the unicorn. It's been told so many times. He has brought so much value and so much insight into this department, and I'm very, very grateful to have learned under him, because he is exceptional at what he does. But I think splitting this position as well in two different ways, it's going to be a mess. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, it's not the right approach right now. I see where you're coming from, and I see potentially like what you're trying to do with this, But I think we need to just keep things the way they are, and I think we need to rethink this whole budget situation. But I will say that being involved in performing arts in general has really shaped me to become the person I am today, and I'm incredibly grateful for everything that, whether Mr. Simmons, Mr. Carey, Sman, like that everyone has put into, like, the countless hours that they are putting behind the scenes. I've seen it all. So I just, again, really urge you to rethink this, and thank you. Thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Grace. I graduated in class of 2021, and after I graduated high school, I swore I don't want to think about high school. I don't want to go back to high school. I don't want to think about it. And then I saw this all over my Instagram, and I'm back here in this building because that's what the performing arts does. That's what chorale does. It was so impactful in high school, not just for me, but for Caroline, for everyone standing over here, that doing this and splitting this position, it's going to crumble. Sure, it could work for a year, but the performing arts, the vocal arts, this isn't gonna last. This is not a solution to this problem. And these kids, Mr. Simmons, Mrs. Mann, Mr. Carey, everyone, is so incredible, the amount of hours and time they put into this. I see them, they're at the school till 11:30 p.m. doing work, and they do classes on top of that. Mr. Simmons does AP music theory, chorus, mixed chorus, all that other stuff as well. This, sure, it could work for a year, but after that, it's just keep falling through the cracks. This is how programs break down. This is how it starts. No one really thinks of it at first, and then it just goes away. And kids love chorale, everyone, not just like kids who are into music, because sports kids, you have kids who are into like math, everything like that. Everyone goes to chorale. Everyone goes there. My brother did it. He was a track kid. He loved chorale. My sister did performing arts as well. It just draws you in. It's a sense of community. And the amount of hours everyone in this department puts into, and the amount of we given back to this city, we sang at the inauguration, Christmas tree lightings, we've gone to retirement homes, countless veterans breakfasts, missing class because it's what we want to do, it's what we love, and we love to give back. And when I heard this, it was almost like a slap in the face. Like, you guys don't care about the performing arts after all that we've given back to the city, which is, we don't expect, all this praise for it. We don't do it because we want something out of it. We do it because we love it. We give back, and then we're met with this? It doesn't make sense. So I just hope you guys really rethink this budget and how much performing arts means to people. Like, people come from the class of 2002 coming back here. People who live like out of state coming back here. It's just, it was honestly, Caroline and all our friends we have a group chat that's been going on for like 6 years now because of chorale.
We steamed the lunchroom. My lunchroom was the chorus room.
Our lunchroom was the chorus room. We made our No, but we made our lifelong friends from this. Yeah. We go on trips together. We talk about being each other's bridesmaids, growing old in the nursing home together. Like, that is what chorale did for us. That is what the performing arts is all about. And we say, high school sucks. High school is just one of those things you get through. But we always say, the one thing that got us through and the one thing that we always think are positive was chorale and the performing arts. That's all I'm going to say, and that would be such a disservice to do with all these kids here. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Testing 1, 2, good. Hi everyone, my name is Dana Sheridan. I am a lifelong Peabody resident. I am a third-generation Peabody High School graduate. My grandfather was a carpentry teacher, started the vocational program. My father was a physical education teacher, former athletic director. My mother was a Spanish teacher, your Spanish teacher. And I actually taught in Peabody for a year and a half during the COVID pandemic. And I want to thank you retroactively for that opportunity. I am also a choral director myself, so I understand very intimately what it's like to run a choral department. I am also, again, the daughter of a director, former director, so I also know very intimately the demands that are needed. Finally, I want to say that I also sing with the Boston Symphony Orchestra, so I am a testament to what this program can do. I don't want to talk very much because I want to leave that more so to the kids, but I do have a couple of questions. I think other things could probably be sent in an email or a letter, but these are just questions that I have as an educator. The first one is, I'm curious, what are some of the other plans that we're doing to keep tanners in our city? My dad always says, once a tanner, always a tanner. But I'm noticing a lot of the numbers changing. And I know that some of it has to do with the cost of living. We can't control some of the things that are happening on a federal level or a state level, and I get that. But I'm curious, what are some of our plans overall as a district, not just for music, not just for athletics, but in general? What can we do to keep tanners in our city? The second question that I have is, I do agree that directors have a lot on their plate. Oftentimes, if I wanted to spend time with my dad, I would be going to athletic games, just like the current director stays late as well. So while I do agree that helping is an important thing, how are we making sure that the arts have an administrative voice? Because in education, that is not just something that we can let slide. It is a vital necessity to make sure that everyone has a voice at the table, especially the vocal artists, because voice is in our name. So we need to have that, please. The last thing that I'm really curious about has to do with the evaluations. And I know that you can't answer me now, and that's okay. The job in Peabody Health, Phys Ed, and Athletics Department, was divided. It didn't work. And so now we're back to the old structure. So I'm curious how you want to restructure the performing arts job to make it work when previously it didn't work when we broke up that job in the first place. Again, I have other questions, and I want to reiterate how much I have respect for people in this room, both on this side of the table and this side of the table. But as I said, I promised you that I wouldn't be talking, but I know some other people who need to say something, and I would like to invite any student who knows, may our paths meet again, to join me.
Thank God we have a director over here.
May our paths meet again as we travel on our way. May you always be my friend, as I am yours today. I know you must travel your road, as I must travel mine. But may our paths meet again May our paths meet again as we strive to reach our dreams. May the road be not as steep as it may sometimes seem. I know you must travel your road as I
good to know that minor third still needs a little work in the basement department.
To have a director who knows the intimacies of the subject. To have a director who knows the intimacies of this type of ensemble learning. This is a different type of learning. Just like in physical education, they don't have desks. In music and in theater and in dance, this is what we do. You need a director who knows it very, very intimately. And I can promise you that any vocal music alumni of Peabody High School knows that. Please don't let our paths divide here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dana. I know there's others that want to speak. I'd like to take, though, a few-minute break. So if we can have a couple of minutes, but we want to hear from everybody. But I'd like to take a couple-minute break. Thanks, everyone. Just about 5 minutes. All right. I know we have some other speakers, but there's a couple of questions, some information that I'd like to try to obtain here, because I have to admit, and I'll speak for myself, but I probably could speak for everybody. This has been very powerful presentation, and I think it's given me and others a much broader understanding of the nature of this job and the importance of what's been spoken about. So I guess I need to know, Dr. Vidala, like, to have a district-wide performing arts head, I mean, what's the number? Like, where are we in terms of numbers? What would make this work?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this has been an incredibly powerful night, and I appreciate everyone coming out. And originally, when I talked to Mr. Simmons about the future of this program, I still believe we need 3 positions to replace Mr. Simmons. We need a department head at the high school. We need a full-time vocal teacher who can serve as a chorale director. Both of those are funded currently in the budget. What is not funded is the third and very important piece that was talked about tonight, which is a district-wide director to do the evaluations, to provide the K-12 vision. Within this current budget, we were hoping to cobble that together maybe for a year. Long-term, we ultimately need one. If we were able to find even $100,000, I think we could make this work with a district-wide director, and we'll offset this with maybe some philanthropy and some other funding. I'm sure I can find some grant money, but in order to do this, I think we need another $100,000.
All right. All right. What I'd like to propose is transferring. Well, first of all, I want some of you to be my speech writers going forward. Oh my God, and I'm serious about that. I suggest that we take a little bit of a risk on health insurance. Take $100,000 from the health insurance line and move that over to the Performing Arts Department to hire that position. Certainly I don't want to cut off people from speaking, but the speakers have been amazing. I know there's more to come, but I'm convinced. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think that is the way to go here. The performing arts community is, like I said at the beginning in my comments, is a tremendous source of pride for this city, and I believe that now more than ever. I think I only speak for myself. I didn't understand the full magnitude. And Dr. Vidala is looking at different options for us, and I think he has some good ideas and thoughts. But I didn't understand the magnitude of what this potentially could mean for the overall operation. And that overall operation, I think, needs to stay. So I would propose taking 100 from health insurance, taking a little bit of a risk, but I think it's a good risk to take, and then moving that over to performing arts to be used in the manner to hire a district-wide performing arts department head. Mr. Amico?
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion to follow the recommendation of the chair, co-motion with Ms. Dunn, Mr. Olympio, Ms. Millman, Dr. Cox, and myself to move $100,000 from the health insurance line to performing arts. So moved.
Point of information, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I don't think we can have a 5-way motion, but.
Not even that. I think it's a good idea, and it's a great idea. We haven't closed the public hearing, so we can't make a motion yet. So hang on to it, and then.
All right. That is true. Sorry, that's true.
Yeah.
And I think we have some other speakers through the chair that want to come
Yeah,
up here.
go. And I'm sorry, you were walking up as we took the break, so please come forward, and we'll continue with, we'd like to hear more.
Thank you.
But I think everybody knows where this is going.
Sorry, I'm really bad with a mic, guys. Yeah, so I'm Dylan DeRossi. I'm a graduate of Peabody High from 2020. A little bit about myself. I ended up, I did band since 5th grade through Peabody. I ended up just doing performing arts with stage 1 with SMAN. And then my senior year, I actually ended up doing chorus. Why I find that relevant, I don't think I would be the person I am today if it wasn't for the arts. I do think that the arts is especially healing. From what I've noticed, I know Mayor Ted Betancourt has actually kind of continued promoting prosperity by having many of the students actually sing around the city and City Hall. Even during some of the hardest times, such as the passing of Kara Murtagh, he even had the school actually sing at the funeral. So definitely protecting the arts would be preferred. It sounds like it's a very hard decision having to pull it from the health insurance. A little bit about me, I am a nurse practitioner. I guess I would say it sounds like that was very last second and it's a risk. Are you sure that that's where you want to pull it from? But if that's where you need to, then I suppose you have to, and you can take that risk. But if you'd like to think about it.
Wait a minute. No, thank you. I do believe that there's a little bit of risk we can take there based on some factors.
Yeah.
So
I did notice with the decreasing of the performing arts in the funding, I know that you're fixing that. I would remind you again, Peabody High has always had awards in the performing arts. I know track did well. I know Peabody High, at least when I went there, there was a very strong sports foundation, but music was always ignored. So I guess thank you for finding a way to make ahead of the performing arts. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rena Deftos. I'm a senior at Peabody High. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you for reconsidering the budget and really making an effort to hear us and understand us and change your perspective based on everything that everybody has had to say today. So thank you. I want to start off by saying that the Performing Arts Department within Peabody High School and the quality of this department is something that really attracts incoming students. It did for me when I was choosing between Peabody High and Essex Tech, and I know it has done the same for multiple other students. I remember specifically my mother telling me that I had to go to Essex Tech, that it was a better school, that I would have more opportunities there, and I was just very on the fence about it. And I leaned more towards Peabody High. I heard there's more AP classes. I heard there's better opportunities for college-bound students, which is what I am or what I was as well. But I also really found a connection with the performing arts program. Even in middle school, I was in the theater program, I was in the chorale program, the band program, and I really connected with that. I felt that that's where I found my community. And I remember even in elementary school, I struggled to find that type of community. I did sports, I did dance, and I just didn't find my people. But I found my people in middle school and in high school through the performing arts community. And I just think that that's an experience that a lot of people have had, and a lot of people continue to have, and a lot of people will continue to have for a long time. And stripping that community away from us and away from current students, future students, I think, and I know a lot of people have touched on this, but that's really detrimental to people's mental health as well. Because without that community, especially for kids who might not fit in other areas of high school or whatever, that's really something that's important in keeping people together, keeping people fulfilled. And I know someone mentioned this, keeping people alive. There are many people that I've talked to who have mentioned how this program has kept them alive. It has given them a reason for living. It has given them a reason to get up every day, to see their friends, to make art, and to completely gut that program, which if we start decreasing funds, it's eventually going to happen. To completely gut that program would to potentially lose kids. And that's not something that anybody wants, especially not in Peabody. I had a bunch of points, but I kind of went improv. I also, this is a little irrelevant from performing arts, I also wanted to talk about the potential cut to BC Calc. I was informed that this was a potential decision if the school didn't reach enough students. And I just wanted to mention that while I didn't take BC Calc because it didn't fit into my schedule, I really, really wanted to. I felt, and I've kind of always felt, that I wasn't really challenged enough academically. And that's just me personally. I know that might be different for so many people, but I felt that I always really wanted like a higher level of education, and I regret not taking BC Calc because I feel like it could have given me that. It could have prepared me for college. And even now I kind of feel, because I'm going to be going to Boston University, I feel a little concerned that I might not be at the same level as other students, that I might have to catch up. I know other schools do even higher math classes, higher levels of math class than BC Calc, and I learned about that this year, and it was kind of disheartening because I'm like, this is a roadblock that I'm experiencing that I can't physically get across. And if we cut even more of our education down and we limit it, it will only cause the same feeling for other students who are intelligent, who are bright, who want to chase their dreams, who want to pursue academics in a higher level. So I just ask you to think more deeply on that and understand how significant it is to keep our higher level of education, keep our performing arts department, and keep our school as it is with the beautiful and wonderful resources that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Henry?
Did I do it right? Yes. Okay, thank you. Mary Duff Henry. I am a resident. Nobody's given their address, so I'm not going to do that. You're normally supposed to. I am a resident of Peabody. I'm a taxpayer of Peabody. I'm a graduate of Peabody High School, class of 1980, yay. In fact, class of 1980, Andy Thane, who I went to Villanova with, along with the Pope, they were in 12 Angry Men and went to Drama Fest finals with Father Tosti. We have a long and rich tradition of the arts in Peabody. I have to tell all you performing arts students, I did sports in high school and I wasn't really very good at them. I was more like the cheerleader, but I really wish I had the guts to do drama, and I didn't. I've done 2 plays in Peabody. Well, really 1 in a little bit. I did Love Letters with Mr. Simons. Anyway, I don't know why I have trouble with his last name lately. And I did, I was Vlad, I was one of the cameos playing Vlad in Seussical, and I fell on my face, and it was fabulous. I'm very proud. And I did not lose the prop.
Do we have any videos of that? I'd like to see that. Do we have any videos?
I'm trying to get a hold of it. Anyway, I
I
have
wanna
no
see
shame.
that video.
I also fell on my face during the student-faculty basketball game a couple of years ago. I have no shame.
I did see that. That was,
Yep.
Yeah, I did like that
All
one.
over the internet. But you know what the thing is? It's not falling down, it's getting up. And that's what we need to do here, right? So I live by this philosophy, and I will do this till the day I die. And sometimes it gets me in trouble, but I'm willing to do that because I think you need to have your values and you need to live your values. And I try to model that for my students every day, and I think I'm an excellent teacher. And this is my value. And it's from Edmund Burke, and he said, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." I happen to be a woman who's doing something. And I'm sitting here because I have some real concerns. I knew you were going to come up with that money. You couldn't not come up with that money when you heard that cold singing of kids from all different grades perfectly harmonizing that song that they sing at graduation that made me want to cry. Amazing. Amazing. I wish I could sing like them. God bless him. And you know what? I know this. He takes kids in this program who didn't know how to sing a note, and he makes singers out of them. And you know what? Miss Manning over here graduated a year after my daughter. Chris Coughlin, 2 years after my daughter. All presidents of Stage 1. I was president of the Stage 1 parents. I'm very proud of that. We have a long history. We should never have been in this position. I want to know why we haven't cut someone from central office. We have 0.5 cuts from central office. We're cutting all these student-facing positions, but central office seems to be out of bounds. You already cut things from elementary music education that it's going to affect our feeding of the program for instrumental music. Why aren't we cutting them? I don't understand why we're not cutting central office. And to say we're not as big as other people, that's a that's because they pulled out all the counselors used to be part of Unit B, and then they moved them to Unit A. That's why our administration is maybe smaller than other districts. Our central office is bloated. I'm not saying they don't work. No one knows what their job descriptions are. We need to cut non-student facing positions. We're adding an administrator to an elementary school. Why are we doing this at the expense of children? And I'm saying this as a taxpayer, as a mother, and as a graduate of Peabody High School. We need to do better by our children. That's why I do this job, period.
Thank you, Ms. Henry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Allison Geddes. I'm a PVMHS alumni from the class of 2024, and I'm a current student at Berklee College of Music. I was largely involved in both the choral and instrumental programs at PVMHS. While I struggled socially and mentally in high school, the Performing Arts Department always gave me a safe space where I felt inspired, accepted, and most importantly, had a community of people supporting me. Because of the music education I received during high school, I was able to gain acceptance into Berklee College of Music with a large scholarship covering over 85% of my tuition. Along with this, I've already begun establishing a career as a music educator and touring guitarist as a sophomore in college. I understand that the proposed budget is now going to change and that there will be space for a performing arts director. But I'm going to take a little bit of a risk and ask for the budget for performing arts to not decrease at all from FY26. There is no reason for the performing arts. I don't have the exact numbers pulled up because they weren't public before the public hearing, which also should have happened. But from what I remember, there was at least a $500,000 decrease from FY26 to FY27. That should not happen. I don't know the exact numbers, but either way, it should not be that much of a decrease. The removal of a performing arts and visual arts director would negatively affect the school system of the entire city. That is a piece of well-rounded education that students would no longer be receiving. And oftentimes, the graduating valedictorian and salutatorian are members of the performing arts community at Peabody High School. It is important for students to have access to education in all subject areas, especially including the arts. Peabody has always been known for having a strong performing arts department. PVMHS Chorale and Higgins Select Choir are frequent platinum and gold medal winners at statewide festivals. Performing arts gave me an outlet in high school, which led to my pursuit of music as a career path. I would be very disappointed to see a future where Peabody High School students are not able to pursue music. I urge the school committee to revise their current plan and create a position for a strong performing arts director for the Peabody public school system. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Nova Berkelmeyer. I also go by Finn in Performing Arts. I'm going to mention some heavy topics, but I feel like we're all adults in this room. So my sophomore year, I was sexually assaulted, and when it caught wind from to my school, I was told by my dean to stop talking about it and that he deserves to have a good senior year and that I shouldn't tell my friends about it because that's not my business. And I want to say that that is the only representation of the mental health support that you praise. I think that with everything, with the deans and my guidance counselor, that they could have given me better support, and they're not equipped to do that. But you know who is equipped to do that? Performing arts. All of those kids, they stood by me every single step of the way. Sorry, I'm not good at public speaking. I would not be here 2 times over if it was not for performing arts. They are my family, and I love them, and I don't want anything horrible to happen. And if that means taking so much money out of healthcare, why? Why would you do that? Healthcare is just as important. It's more important. I don't care how much the choir makes you cry or how uplifting a Drama Fest performance is. You need to focus on healthcare and mental health before performing arts, because performing arts will only get better if you support healthcare and mental health for all the teachers involved and all the students involved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I've been here for 3 hours. I'm 22 years old. My back hurts. Here we go. Hello. Hello, my name is Julia Stearns. I am a lifelong resident of Peabody and a former performing arts student. I graduated in 2021. And I originally came here without any plans to speak at all. I came here after I again saw this on social media and saw many of my friends and alum posting this, and I knew I had to show up. And my original intention was just to come, show up, and listen, because I feel that that is equally as important as speaking. But I was so inspired by all of my peers, alum, the fellow adults in this room, the students in this room. I cried twice. I had to get up and speak. I am actually one of the few people in this room that was not a member of the vocal arts department. I was in band and I was in stage 1, and that was pretty much everything I did. I was really afraid of singing for a really long time. I did it when I was younger. I got into high school and I thought that that was enough for me. But because I spent so much time in the performing arts department, I learned a lot through osmosis and being around vocal arts students. And the 2 things that I learned about John Simmons during my time as a vocal arts, not as a vocal arts student, as a performing arts student, is that 1, I'm a little bit scared of him. And 2, he is one of the strongest and most dedicated members of the Peabody High School community, followed quickly in tandem by the rest of the performing arts department, as well as the rest of the teachers in this room. In your search for a full-time vocal teacher and chorale director, as well as both director positions, I urge you to consider the power and influence of the students and young people you saw today. The students and alumni you see in this room hold so much discipline, respect, courage, honor, passion, and soul, and look where it came from. The man standing in the back of this room today. I strive as an educator, I strive to get an ounce of that out of my students, whose ages range from 11 years old to 17 and up. It is paramount that you bring someone on who sees that, acknowledges it, and learns to move and grow with it. While many of the folks you heard today share many of the same sentiments and concerns as I do, and in my opinion, in an era where it feels like the state of the world is an out-of-control spiral and like many voices go unheard, I urge you to listen to the people in this room, the teachers, the adults, the young people, the students, the alumni, every single person in this room who has gotten up to speak today, every single person who hasn't spoken is here in this room with you. I urge you to listen to them.
Hi, my name is Angelica Iniguez, and I'm a freshman at Peabody High. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but seeing many of my peers, I decided to write this during intermission. Tonight, I had the pleasure and opportunity to receive the Rising Star Award for oh my god. Yeah, performing arts. If it wasn't for this department, I would not go to school in Peabody and continue to pursue music. In the 8th grade, I applied to St. Mary's in Lynn and received a scholarship that covered almost half of the yearly cost. But a couple days before my 8th grade graduation, I made the hard decision to go to school in Peabody. This department has influenced my life drastically, and I don't know where I would be today without it. Without replacing Mr. Simmons with someone as qualified and who cares, the department will crumble. I hope you allow me to keep rising in a department that is valued and fully supported.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Travis Wojcik. I will say I am living on Margin Street again, and you can ask the people at Treadwell's. So, I think that this has been a much better night than I anticipated, and I think that all of these students and all of these educators and all of these community members coming out is really powerful and really impactful, and I'd like to give it up for all of them. And Reed. Great work, Reed. Thank you, Stephanie Manning, and thank you to Sean Fitzgerald, who raised a great point. I think that the transparency is lacking a little bit. I scoured the web for the budget to no avail, and thank you to the teachers union who provided that budget to Mr. Fitzgerald. So that is an issue. I think that needs to be resolved moving forward for future budget processes. Yeah, I have a couple other comments. You know, I kind of echo Mary Henry's concerns about the healthcare. I know that $100,000 out of, what is it, $4, $5, some odd million dollars is manageable. But I do think, having been working at a school for the past 5 years, you know, there's a lot of middle management that I just think that the student-facing jobs are always the first to get cut, and I think that's an issue. That's the last that should be cut in reality. But in any case, I would like to read, I'd like to read 2 excerpts from 2 letters, if I may. This one's dated October 19th, 2012, and it is from Fred Berry. He said, "Thank you so much for singing at my tribute event last month. It was a great way to end the night, and I really appreciated you being there and doing such an amazing job. I couldn't have asked for a better or more talented group of students. It meant a lot to me for you to all come together as a multi-town and multi-city chorus. As the lyrics go in the song you sang for me, thank you for being a friend." That was the Senate Majority Leader back in 2012, and I think that's pretty poignant. He recognized, you know, that collaboration that you need to have not only within our district, but within other districts. John Simmons was a major contributor to that effort, and having a district performing arts director, as it sounds like we will be doing, is key to that effort. The other letter that I want to mention, before I do that, I'll say something more about the district director position. Really, I fear without the high school setting policy and making decisions, the high school director setting policy and making decisions, the pipeline will become incoherent and inefficient. So I think that having one person doing it, I know it's a lot. I know you've been saying he's going to be consulting next year. I think it's actually the way to go, because I think that policy and those decisions really, like that leadership that position provides up at the top, up at the high school, is invaluable. So that said, the next letter I'd like to read, an excerpt from, is dated June 5th, 2014. I'll get right into it. I also want to commend you on the beautiful arrangement of Gone, 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 which I was fortunate enough to hear during the Performing Arts Banquet. I understand your piece was also scheduled to be featured at the graduation ceremony itself, but that the rain scuttled the performance. Although I am sure you were disappointed, I was, please be assured that your arrangement made a remarkable impression on those of us who had the great pleasure to experience it. As mayor, I strive to find examples of excellence in our community to help focus attention on what is great about our city. Your graduation from Peabody High School, coupled with your musical gift to the class of 2014, provides a great example. Warmest regards. Oh, he said congratulations once again and continued success in all your endeavors. Warmest regards, Edward A. Betancourt Jr. Thank you. What's that?
It was really good.
It was thanks to all the singers in there. And it brings me to the point that, you know, what's excellent about this city is that I had the opportunity to learn from an educator like John Simmons. I hope that his replacement is just as good. But really, we got to close the gap some other way. And I'm glad it sounds like we're doing that. Not doing so would be a disservice to the children of Peabody. And, as we all know, education is a debt due from present to future generations. So we got to pay up. Thank you very much. Thank you for all your time.
Thank you, Travis. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Sydney Topham-Williams. I come as a member of Peabody Prep. I joined Stage 1 actually 2 years ago, and through this program I learned quite a lot. And I would like to point out, previously during your statement you said student programs won't be affected and that performing arts is essential, yet removing this role would, no matter what, affect the program. The program will no longer be run the same, and nobody expects it to be. But we're looking for someone to come in and take the role and go further with it, to carry on Mr. Simmons' legacy. With being part of Peabody Prep, you don't really go out much, so my only form of social activity really was Stage 1. So in all generality, that was my community. Besides that, I worked at home. And I have various friends who are coming up into Peabody Prep who have an interest in singing vocally and joining chorus and joining Stage 1. And with these concerns and the budget replacements and the removal of this role, they share the same concern of, will they have this community as a space to come to? Will they have this ability to showcase their vocal ability? Because we don't have those at Peabody Prep because it's an at-home school. So Peabody Veterans Memorial High School is our facility for that. And beyond that, I would just like to say that all of these people here that have spoken, I've spoken to at least a couple times, and these programs mean the world to them, not only for them to be in, but to come back and see them. Part of Stage 1, part of band, part of our vocal groups is coming back and supporting, as various have, and to see this downfall would be detrimental. Sman has worked far too hard, Chris has worked far too hard, Mr. Simmons worked far too hard, Mr. Jones has worked far too hard, and so have the rest of the students here to just let it crumble due to budgets. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello. Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Riley Linger, and I just graduated this past fall, or not fall, this last spring, as the class of 2025. I was in, from the moment I stepped into that building, no matter how scared and alone I felt after leaving my best friends to different high schools, I walked into that building, and my first period on my first day of high school was mixed chorus. And I walked into that classroom, and there was me, Mr. Simmons, and 4 other people in that classroom. And in that moment,
I knew from there on I had 4 friends at least, and that was good enough for me. So I was in chorale. I joined chorale my sophomore year, and I continued throughout my high school career. And I was the first freshman in the Full House a cappella group. I joined midway through the year, and that opened doors for future performers. To me, chorus was never about singing or making music. It was and still is about who you do it with and the connections that form from it. It was also the opportunities that came from it. The opportunities I would have never been given elsewhere. I think you're all probably sick of hearing about singing and, you know, how it affects everyone. So I'm not going to tell you about how music affected me, but I'm going to tell you about how Mr. Simmons affected me. I wrote my entire college essay about the performing arts and who I would have been without it. And I actually started it with that whole thing I had mentioned about walking into my first period and feeling at home. Without performing arts, I would have never endeavored in the paths that I did. I would have never made the friends I did. I was a freshman filled with, you know, warmth and gratitude, and I was taken in by a lot of seniors and juniors my freshman year. And as I continued to grow, I mentored my own, and it made me the better person that I am today. Music is just not about one person. It's not about yourself. It is impactful for the community. We sing at so many different events. We have, you know, I've been lucky enough to sing the anthem at so many things and just go to so many things that I never would have gone to in the city. As you know, a 15-year-old girl, sometimes you're just not interested in that. You know, you'd rather be out on, you know, a walk with a friend or doing a couple other things, but that was never me. I was always focused in. Growing up, I was given a few too many, you know, mental health days. Stay home from school, it's okay. You're not gonna miss anything. But not in high school. I never got caught with that. If I was not there, I was held accountable that day on the, whether it was an email or the next day being like, so Riley, what are you doing? Where were you? Even walking in at the bell at 7:21, it was, gotta cut a minute off that commute. And I knew that. You know, some days that bed was just real comfortable, but I knew I had to get up, I had to move. Without Mr. Simmons, without the impactful, you know, experience that I got at high school, I never would have chosen the career that I'm going into. I'm, you know, currently a freshman. I just finished my freshman year at Salem State as an elementary education major. And, you know, because of the accountability I was held to, I made Dean's List both semesters, which is just not, which if you had asked me that my sophomore year, I would have told you that school was not for me and that I was not going to make it out of high school. And that I was going to be a cosmetologist, maybe. But I never knew what I was going to experience. And just the friends that I've made, the places that I got to stay, lunches in the chorus room, they really gave me a home. They gave me friends. They gave me the people that I've mentored. And to cut that is just really a disgrace to all of the future students that are going to be in there who feel like they're not going to have any friends going into their first day of high school, and they're not going to have a table to sit at. But with the performing arts, you always have a table to sit at. Thank you.
Thank you, Riley.
Sarah Dunn, 78 Russell Street. I don't have anything as astute written out as some of the people who have spoken tonight, and really beautiful sentiments from what I've heard. I could talk to you about how much the vocal program meant to me in high school. I could tell you it saved my life, and that would be true. I could tell you that the structure John Simmons brought to that program and the standard that he brought to his students far exceeded what I experienced in all other aspects of my education in Peabody High. I was class president for 4 years. I served on the student advisory board. I was a band kid. I was in mixed chorus, I was in chorale. I was a swimmer, I was in stage 1, both participating in the acting roles as well. Now I'm really blanking. This man's probably behind me like, oh my God. As well as on tech for different performances when I was available, doing a lot of other things. And I can truly say that the greatest impact in my life and in now my career, because it's been a bit, was my experience with John Simmons in the vocal program. When I graduated, I was struggling with my mental health, and I wrote a letter to 5 teachers. So in 4 years at Peabody High, 5 teachers deeply impacted me, full-time educators. And John Simmons was one of those people, and he received one of those letters. I don't have that letter with me today. If I did, I would probably cry reading it. But some of my best friends were from that program. And I work in the corporate world. I don't work in education, so I can't speak to a lot of the intricacies of your budget, but I understand when reductions are needed and when a budget needs to be balanced. I've built a budget. I understand what that looks like for a department, and it can be really frustrating. And one of the best pieces of advice my mentor, my boss, has given me, when he was getting laid off from a reduction, I said, oh my God, we're gonna fall apart without you. And he said, if I did my job right, no, you won't. If I did everything right, you will not. And I hope the people who are watching this meeting, who are here tonight, know that the institution that John Simmons has built is going to last. And it's going to look different. It's definitely gonna look different. The standard, his expectations, I'll quote another educator from Peabody High School, Ari Bertram, used to say, my standards are perfectly reasonable. My expectations, however, far exceed those standards. And I think those two were both very similar in their approach to education. So the standard that John Simmons has set, I think there will be educators that can come in and they can meet that. The expectations he set, that's a legacy. That's gonna be very hard. I don't think there's a replacement, I think there's a successor here. And I think that a lot of comments have been made about transparency, which is so important. These meetings are televised. Like, there's a lot of room for transparency, even beyond that. But my ask, I think, from everyone in this room, whether you be an elected official or someone who spoke tonight or someone who, has been part of this process in some way, is to be transparent when you leave this room too. The transparency doesn't start and stop in this room. It should go home with you. Social media is an incredible space, but it can also bring a lot of challenges. And for myself, I saw a lot of panicked people in our community, panicked alumni, that this program was just gonna be cut entirely. And as Dr. Vidala has pointed out, there's a lot of misinformation that went around. And I think everyone in this room, in the spirit of transparency, has a duty to the people who weren't able to tune in, who weren't able to, come here and speak their piece, to go home. And if you have some kind of a platform, even if you have 5 people, and one of those people were concerned, let them know that it's gonna be okay, that the program is gonna survive on, and there's a path forward. And I think that that's just really important. So bottom line is, John Simmons, you are an institution. You have called on me now as an alumni over the years for different things, and I love when my phone rings, whether it be singing at the Memorial Healing Garden dedication or other events that you've dusted off the cobwebs to bring me out for. I love when I get those calls. And in the spirit of transparency, I just ask everyone here, come together. I'm so all about Peabody. I have a 16-month-old. I chose to bring my family here. I dragged my husband from Tewksbury, from the depths of, middle America. And this is where, yeah, seriously. And they only have a 99 there. And I'm gonna have people from Tewksbury coming after me now. But it's a lot of great businesses. But bottom line is, I've chose to raise another generation. We're like 5th generation Peabody now. And that's because I believe in this city. I believe in the people that are elected. All of you that are here, you're here because you want to help people. None of you were elected because you hate this place. I hope to God, that'd be crazy. It's a lot of money and effort to really drag something down. But all of you are here for the right reasons. I think everybody here in the audience, they're here for the right reasons. And it sounds like there's a really good end to this story. So I will leave it at that. It's pretty late. So that's my piece.
Thank you, Sarah. How much total? Welcome. Yep. Yep. Oh, you were on now. There we go.
Sorry, I'm not good at this stuff. I'm usually a support person. I usually stay in the back. But watching all the kids here today really inspired me to talk. I'm a transplant, and I've heard all kinds of stuff from everybody here about I'm 3rd, 5th, 10th generation. My daughter is 14, and she's one of 4, and they're going to be the first generation Tanners. And when I was growing up, I didn't have a good start to high school. My guidance counselor talked with my mom and got me into sports. And I did orchestra, and I did theater, and I did track. And people didn't know me, and I didn't know them. And it got me to come out of my shell and for them to get to know me. And the rest of the 3 years of high school was a great experience. And these kids coming out today are telling you, these teachers, not just Mr. Simmons, not just Sman, we need these people. Student-facing faculty is the most important thing, especially today, as the last speaker said, with social media. When I was a kid, when we got bullied, home was a safe space. That is no longer true. So if they have a safe space to go, no matter if it's theater or sports or workshops or whatever it is, we need to support it. And I needed to say that because they had the courage to come up. When I was 14, none of us would have ever done this. And I know you started a motion earlier. If you want to have another motion, Mr. Mayor, you're going to need to get all these kids and adults to write speeches, because this man over here has a legacy that I have never seen in my life. And when you have the new high school, you can dedicate a music art hall to Mr. Simmons, and all these people can talk. The best speech I ever heard, the opening was, I'll keep the speeches short and the party long. They spoke for 20 minutes. I will not do the same. I'll let you all go. Thank you for listening to all of us. Thank you all for speaking. Love you all. Have a good night.
And sir, if you could, thank you. If just for the record.
Oh
if you
yeah,
just give it-
Derek Drinkwater.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Liz Mover.
Jen Coughlin. Excuse me. Did that hear me? Yeah, okay. Good evening. Again, CPAC was not planning on speaking tonight, but we were catching up with teachers excuse me, from the TLC program. As a reminder, the TLC program is a therapeutic learning program in Peabody. The teachers and service providers deal with the most challenging of behaviors that can remain in district, and we know that they care deeply about what they do. We've already spoken out about the TLC program moving to the Carroll, but tonight we learned that 2 out of 2 teachers are not going with the program. To recap, the TLC elementary program has 2 teachers, and neither of those teachers are going. It's unclear if the other service providers are going. Mix this in with moving to a new school, which happens to be the largest in the district and also a very high needs school. It's also coming with a brand new admin team for both the students and the program. If the service providers are not going, then this seems like it's not moving the TLC program. However, it could be dismantling a program that serves kids with social emotional needs, some of whom have trauma. We would ask if there is a plan in place to work more collaboratively with the students and families in that program than took place with working with the staff. Is there a plan to prep these parents and students? Are they aware of what's happening? Because you're taking away an education team they know. For kids with trauma, this is one more loss, one more goodbye, and one more broken relationship within this district. For some of these kids, this will be their 3rd school placement in their elementary career. This is one more relationship and bond that you're asking these students to form in a new and bigger school. We know the TLC program is a done deal, but we would ask that there be transparency regarding what is happening and their plan to continue to support these students with a consistent educational team. And as a side note, you guys may all be getting sick of seeing us, and we really weren't planning on speaking tonight, but here we are, and we would continue to encourage families, especially special education families, to speak, because as we've seen tonight, there is power when people come together to speak for a united cause. Imagine what could happen with numerous families speaking up publicly for special education, but until then, we will continue to be the voice for those who need it most.
Thank you both.
Hi, Julie Murray, grade 5 at the Carroll School. First, I would like to say thank you to everyone. You're very passionate about what you are here to support, and we all, as teachers, support you. I would like to say that I have great concern that you're going to take another $100,000 out of the health budget. At the last meeting, you voted to take $150,000 out of the health insurance budget, as well as $250,000 out of district and $60,000 out of utilities. That's concerning. I have multiple budgets in front of me. I come to every budget meeting. I'd like to speak about a couple of different topics. First, when you cut 25% across each budget, every teacher went, oh, because so many teachers spend so much money out of their own pockets. We're a high-needs district. It's putting an onus on teachers and families at this point. One teacher said, donations, philanthropy, teacher wallets. Teachers aren't just buying glue sticks and pencils. They're buying snacks for students who don't have them. They're buying hats and coats and things. You have dedicated and kind and caring teachers and paras in this district. When they see something, they provide it. So that cut teachers. Just to think about that. On a different note, I listened to many principals, the director of IT and special ed speak. We did not have the director of ELL speak. No questions were asked. The high school's going from 7 to 4 ELL teachers. The middle school 6 to 4 ELL teachers. It's very concerning you did not have the opportunity to ask questions from the ELL director. You didn't get to ask about caseload, span in those caseloads for the different levels, how that's going to affect these students. Current caseload and the fellows that are being watched. I would hope that you could reach out before voting on this to see how this is going to impact them across the districts. Perhaps more support can be given at the elementary level, go down into the kindergarten to support them for ELL. 5 ELL positions, 4 high school core academic subjects. As Mr. Haas said, cut the week of teacher appreciation, while also adding a full-time administrator to the center school. You're looking at $100,000. Where could that come from? Let's get creative. If they need another administrator at the central school, why not house another administrator there? Why not have the director of ELL, the director of guidance, or make the assistant principal also the person who runs the preschool program? Let's get creative on how to save money. Another way to be creative on how to save money, no keynote speaker. We don't need a comedian. No math and focus workbooks. The pages we need could be printed. We could save a tremendous amount of money by using just what we needed. Every year I talk about class size. I looked at them. Most of them are fine. Some of us are starting much higher, 24, 25. The Burke School 5th grade has 24 and 25. The Carroll School will be at 24, 25. You say every child, every day. That's incredibly difficult to do with the larger class sizes, especially at high need schools. The range of abilities in a classroom can be vast. The behavioral needs, as Mr. Haas said, with the larger class sizes, less room to move around, 25 desks is a lot. Having a lot of places for push-in, ELL, special ed, teacher table, It's a very crowded classroom. Things can happen. So I urge you to look at ways to save money, but that doesn't leave us lean in the healthcare. Again, Ms. Henry talked about central administration, a 0.5. Let's get creative. Let's think about how to keep teachers in classes small and not cut the programs that the students need. Thank you.
Welcome, Karen.
Welcome. I think this is a record, twice in 1 year. I'm here to support all the kids. I heard that today in school. They were upset. Give them all the credit in the world. But I'm also here to support the rest of the high school kids. I guess you didn't believe me when I said the last time I got up, the classes are difficult. We do not get the support we need. They're too large. The kids don't have the academics coming up. I know you're telling me we have less ninth graders coming in. Well, you had that class last year at the Higgins. Yet you chose to keep a cluster there because the next class was going to be higher, which it was, and it will be next year for us, not this year. So the teachers you're removing this year are going to be needed next year. How smart is that? You're going to give up teachers that know the system, know these kids, know the staff, know the procedures, but you're going to let them go because we need to cut. No. I have heard from 4 members on this committee for the past 5 years tell me they're going to look at the administration budget. Tell me when you're going to do it. I can go back and get you my notes. I have them all. I actually haven't gone back too far. But when is that going to be done? You're cutting a 0.5 out of that administration budget. Yet you're cutting 8 teachers at the high school. You talk about our freshman class. What is it, 65% are passing? Yeah. Why? Classes are overcrowded. The kids don't know the academics. The teachers cannot handle 25 to 30 kids in a classroom. No, there isn't 30, but I'm in 2 classes with 27 kids. There are kids on IEPs. There are kids on 504s. There are kids on ELL. English language learners. They all need help. The general population needs help. And you expect to cut teachers, increase class sizes, and expect better outcome. Good luck to you. I've been a parent 27, 28 years, and it's getting worse. Not one of you, in all this time I've been in this district, which I hate to say has been since my kids went to schools here, have ever gone and actually spoke to the teachers, to the parents, ask us what's going on. Your principals are not in our classroom. Your deans are not in our classroom. Your vice principals are not in our classrooms. We are, with the students. And you need to go and talk to them. I'm sorry, every principal will tell you everything's fine, because nobody wants to hear that it's not. I heard Miss Randall say she didn't want to lose anyone. We're losing an administrator. That's what's in the budget. I saw that and I was shocked. Why is that? I've been to all the meetings. I did not specifically hear that there was an administrator at the high school being cut. Do I have to guess at who that is? I don't think I should have to. I work there. There does need to be transparency. And I understand you're saying people don't want others to know when they're retiring. Well, I'm sorry, it affects the rest of the building. It affects the teachers. It affects the kids. We have a right to know what's going on. And to cut when you know you're going to need them back is really ridiculous. You kept them last year for this middle school. Why? What's the difference between that and letting them go at the high school and not keeping them? Because you're going to need them next year. Because I think I saw the numbers, there's 400 kids next year, roughly, at the Higgins. Are we going to lose 100 of them to somewhere else? I don't think so. 100 of them. You're positive.
Averaging 125 students per year going to Essex Tech and another 40 to 50 going to like Fenwick and St. John's Prep. So yeah, I think we can make a.
You think we're going to make that?
Unfortunately, yeah. I want them to go to Peabody High. That's why I want to
so
build.
do I.
That's why I want to build.
Yeah,
that's
but
why
I'm
we're
gonna be
trying to build a new high
retiring.
school.
So, I mean, at some point, yes, I will. But the thing is, these kids need more help and more support than what we can give them. One teacher and myself cannot help 15 kids in a classroom with 10 others that you're hoping is doing what they're supposed to be. There has to be accountability at every level. And I'm asking you to think about what needs to be done. I understand it's a budget. I am also a Peabody taxpayer. I'm a Peabody resident. I haven't lived here my whole life, but 40 years is enough. I'll still be here. My kids are tan and blue, and they like being here. I'm probably one of the few that do not complain when you raise the taxes. I understand the reason why. I understand why. I watched your video. It was fabulous, by the way. I enjoyed it. But we do need to get more help for the students in the classes. And that's where this committee comes in. And it's difficult. There's choices to be made. And that's the difficult part. And that's part of all of your jobs. But you have to look at what is necessary. You want better grades, higher percentages, then you need to get the staff to help all of them and not just push it off. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or anybody would like to speak? Okay. Yeah, a couple of things. Thank you, all the speakers. But no, Karen, just like to that point, yeah, I mean, I think all of us are tanners here. I mean, to hear some of the students talk about reasons they chose Peabody, and that was meaningful and impactful, because that's where I want kids to go. I mean, my 4 kids have gone to Peabody. I have one of them there now, and I want all the kids that come to Peabody High School. We are losing a graduating class in 8th grade at the middle school is about 500 students. We're losing every year 125 to Essex Tech. Then you have another 40 to 50 that go to St. John's Prep, Bishop Fenwick, St. Mary's, Malden Catholic, Pingree, wherever. So, the hope, this right now is the lowest point we've ever had at Peabody High School in terms of numbers. It's the lowest amount. We have under 1,200 students. I think 1,196. It's the lowest by far we've ever had at Peabody High School. But we got to keep the kids here, and thankfully we have magic going on in the school, but the building has to be, and that's why the hope is that if we can build this new school, over the next 3 or 4 years, that can maybe make a difference and bring a lot of the students back to Peabody, bring some more CTE programs back, things like that. So anyway, that's the hope. Yeah, I mean, it is frustrating, the numbers that are not coming to Peabody High, and that's why I think the new school is so important to the future. But anyway, I brought up health insurance. I did want to say, because I don't want there to be confusion, because there were some really good comments, but we offer health insurance to every full-time employee in the city. So the fact that, like, I thought about moving, we have about a $15 million budget for health insurance, maybe moving 100,000 out of there to put over towards performing arts. And I mention it as a risk. Anybody who works for the city that works full-time has the opportunity to take advantage of our health insurance. Their physical health, their mental health, eye, ear, whatever the case may be. Some people do not take the health insurance here. They get it through their spouse. There's different plans available. Some people are on a single plan. Some people are on a family plan. All that matters in terms of payment. But when I mention about cutting 100 or transferring 100 to somewhere else, that doesn't affect people's ability to get health insurance. They're going to get health insurance if they work here full time. I felt that maybe taking a risk that there might be some people that are on a single plan rather than a family plan, or maybe somebody that has great insurance through their spouse that they maybe want to go with. Those are the reasons that I thought that maybe we could take a little bit of a risk on health insurance. But anybody who works full-time gets health insurance. There's no question. We make sure they're not losing out. I don't want to lose out on any programs or anything that we offer. So I didn't want there to be any confusion about that, because that is critical for our employees and much deserved and needed. The health insurance is going up like crazy, but we need to make sure that we have good health care, Blue Cross Blue Shield, as best we can. So I just wanted to mention that, because I didn't want there to be any confusion on that. Yeah, Mrs. Dunn?
Mr. Chairman, I have two motions I would like to ask if they could be entertained. One would be to adjourn the public hearing and enter into a regular meeting. The second would be a motion to suspend the rules so that we can meet past 11 p.m. So I'd be happy to make the one about the motion to suspend the rules first, and then make a motion to, okay. So I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules so that we are able to meet past 11 p.m. So moved.
Second.
Further motion by Mrs. Dunn, seconded by Mr. Amico.
Okay.
Roll call vote.
Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Limpio?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Melvin?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Okay. And then the second motion would be a motion to adjourn the public hearing, which will then allow us to discuss the budget. So moved.
Okay, do we have do I have a second on that motion to adjourn the public portion of the meeting? Okay, you've heard the motion by Mrs. Dunn, seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please, Marge.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Limpio?
Yes.
Ms. Melvin?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Thank you. So now we can open it up to the school committee members. Any comments, questions? Open it up to our members at this time. Mr. Miko?
Thank you. Before I make a motion, or if anyone else wants to speak through the chair, I just want to thank all the students who emailed us, called us, the parents that called us, emailed us, and I'll tell you, you were so respectful, and obviously the ones that spoke tonight, especially the students. You were just so respectful. You came up here. You weren't finger pointing. You were asking for what you really believe in, and that's a great way to ask for things, right? You're not putting anyone down. You're not going to Facebook and blasting people. You're coming. You're using your rights, right? And you're coming before us, and you're advocating for what you believe in. So it was awesome. Thank you for doing this. Don't change. Keep doing that. Keep keeping us accountable, right? We know how important the John Simmons and this whole organization is. So keep doing what you're doing. It's important. But I speak for myself, but I was just so impressed by the emails, the conversations. I got a call from a parent who's in Kentucky today. And that's what your program is all about. Scott Dixon called me from Kentucky. He's like, I'm sorry I can't be there. Please tell everyone I can't be there, but I want to advocate for those kids. So just keep doing what you're doing, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miko. Okay. Okay, any comments, questions? Oh, Mr. Miko, yep.
If I can, if does anyone else through the chair have any comments? Otherwise, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to move $100,000 from the health insurance line to performing arts for the position of director. And if we can, we'll make it a co-motion. Ms. Dunn, Mr. Olympio, Ms. Millman, and Dr. Cox, because I know we really believe in our kids, and I'll leave it at that. So moved.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Miko. Do I have a second on the motion?
Yes, if we're all co-sponsors, do we need a second?
I've never
It's
had
pretty
a
curveball
five-way
there,
motion.
yeah, I know. But for the purposes of whatever might be necessary, I'd be happy to make a second.
Thank you. So we've had the motion made by Mr. Miko, seconded by Mrs. Dunn. Any comments? Mrs. Billman?
I just want to reiterate and clarify the 100,000 move as we all made this, and to make sure it is clear and we are being transparent about it. The move of that is to fund a director, a district-wide director position in the visual performing arts. And please, yes.
May I? So the details of it will be to move $100,000 from line 22023, which is the district health insurance line, to line 15001, which is the director of performing arts. And it will be a K-12 district-wide non-teaching position, director position. And it'll be funded as $100,000, and we will be able to post that position tomorrow.
And I'll amend to add those.
And if I may, just to further, if you would, Dr. Vidala, is with that's a district-wide position. It will also maintain positions or people to be teaching the classes that were also at time taught by Mr. Simmons.
Correct. So in this current budget within the high school, we'll have a department head, which will also be posted tomorrow upon affirmative vote. And then following the filling of that position, there'll be a position posted for a full-time teacher to cover the course. So this is a tremendous movement in this department. And I am very grateful to the mayor and the school committee for supporting this.
So through the chair, Ms. Millman, if we could, we'll amend that motion to add that in there. Thank you very much to both of you. Yeah, please.
Yep. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Olympio?
Yes.
Ms. Millman?
Yes.
Mrs. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you.
So, to put a bow on this, and to close this meeting, I've amended the final slide with the two highlighted areas. So we've moved $100,000 from the non-salary line, which is the second motion, to the salary line, which is the first motion. So Mr. Olympio, please take it away. This is to officially vote the entirety of the budget and to be able to move forward.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed salary line item in the FY27 budget in the amount of $66,928,802 as presented.
Second.
Okay, thank you. You've heard the motion by Mr. Olympio, seconded by Mrs. Dunn. Comments, questions on the vote? Ms. Millman?
So I'm going to say this here to begin. As a member of the school committee and as someone who takes both the responsibility and professionalism of this role seriously, I feel it's important to address the recent and repeated changes made to the proposed budget throughout this process. Simply adjusting numbers from meeting to meeting without providing comprehensive and accessible information in easy and reviewable format does not allow the committee to effectively fulfill its responsibility to the district, the city council, our staff, or the public. When school committee members are asked to support significant budget changes while operating with limited information due to personnel matters, unclear information, or insufficient understanding, or how district funds, including grants, and in revolving accounts are being utilized, it raises legitimate concerns regarding transparency, accountability, and informed decision-making. This process has not fostered a clear understanding of how the district's educational and operational systems are functioning, nor has it allowed the full committee to adequately evaluate the long-term impact on proposed reductions and reallocations. Equally concerning is that the committee has not consistently received ongoing school improvement plans or as required by our own bylaws in a certain order, or comprehensive building level presentations prior to the announcements of cuts and recommendations. Too often the committee's roles appear reactive rather than collaborative and informed. That raises serious questions about the current budget development process, particularly when decisions appear to be reflect predetermined priorities regarding programming and funding without meaningful stakeholder engagement from educators, staff, families, students, or the broader community. When central office job descriptions have been provided and yet non-reviewed as a committee, show duplicity, and it's unknown to staff even what the job roles are to many that work around them. When we cut staffing to some of our most needed populations, as our testing shows, it's a problem. I understand the committee is required to vote on a budget. However, at this time, I'm not comfortable supporting this proposal. I am not comfortable representing to the city and to our constituents that this process reflects a level of diligence, transparency, collaboration, oversight as required that the public should expect from the school committee. While aspects of this process may have been done similarly in the past, that alone does not mean that they cannot or should not be improved. I remain committed to advocating for a budget process that includes greater transparency, earlier and clearer communication, stronger stakeholder input, and more comprehensive understanding of district finances and priorities before decisions of this magnitude are made. This is what I am reflecting my vote on.
Thank you, Ms. Millman. Any other comments or questions? Dr. Cox?
I would also like to echo many of the concerns that Mrs. Millman has regarding this budget. I understand the importance of passing a budget and being able to, fund our next school year. When I ran for this position, I ran as a mom of young daughters who are going to be entering the Peabody school system, and that I am going to be proud to have them part of this school system. What I ran on is the idea of transparency and the idea and the topic and the continued conversation and ability for everyone to understand what is going on inside our discussions on the school committee, within interdepartmentally, through our subcommittee meetings. And I do not feel strongly that the information has been disseminated in a way that the public has had complete access to it and complete understanding of the decisions that we have made. And quite frankly, there are other, the vagueness and the ideas of accepting a budget when we don't have a plan in place or a clear plan, and we don't know if faculty know that they're going to be asked to do more things or their job role might change, is also very unsettling to me. And so for that, my vote at the end of this for this motion will also reflect that statement.
Thank you, Dr. Cox. Comments or questions? Mrs. Dunn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Working on a budget is very difficult, and I know that all of the people here can understand how there is a lot involved, not just the numbers, but the people behind those numbers, the programs behind the numbers. It is a very difficult process. I don't like this budget because I know that we could do so much more, and I know that our students and our city deserves much more. However, I also know that we are going to have to work together to make it work, to figure it out. If we had all the money we need, that would be wonderful. We've never had that. Things have never been perfect with the finances that we need to support the school system that our city deserves. Voting no would be very easy. It would be a popular vote. A lot of the taxpayers would like to see that. There are a lot of people who would like to see this budget fail and let the schools fail as well. But everyone here has worked on this budget. We school committee members own this budget. I don't like it, but I'm going to vote to support it because that is what the work we have been doing all along has been about. In a perfect world, the budget would be better. It's not perfect right now, but I need to support this going forward to make sure that we are able to provide education to our students. We have great programs, we have great staff members, and we have the opportunity to move forward, but to always continue to give excellent education to our students. The tributes tonight are absolute evidence of the impact of a teacher on the future. You could not ask for a more important visual of how much a person can affect someone and how much a teacher affects children. And that's an important legacy for Mr. Simmons, but also for all of our teachers and all of our paraprofessionals and all of our staff. So, no, I don't like the budget. But I own part of this, and I'm going to support it and do everything I can to make it work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Any other comments? Mr. Amico?
Great, thank you through the chair. And I echo a bit about what Ms. Dunn is mentioning there about, yeah, we don't love this budget. You know, most of us think this budget started in April, on April 14th, but it really didn't. It started with the finance team, I don't know, was it October, November, when we started meeting on contracts, and we, we met with all the units, and we wanted to make sure that, teachers and paras and everyone else got a fair share, that got their, got raises, because we knew, the health insurance premiums were going to skyrocket. Whatever business you're in, that's the number one expense other than salaries right now is the cost of health care. So to reiterate, we really started this budget when we sat down with our units, our unions to make sure that we gave them and they received fair contracts. I believe they did. And then we moved into our traditional budget season. And we started a lot earlier than most places because we knew the challenges. We were talking about the challenges of this year 2 years ago. And I hate to say it, folks, we're going to be talking about some major challenges next year as well. I'm proud to be part of this committee. We take a lot of heat. We don't, there's no glory in this. You want to talk about one of the best line items in that whole budget, it's the salaries of these 6 people who come every other Tuesday and pour their hearts out and work hard for students and teachers. There's zero glory in this. Just look at our Facebook pages, right? Seriously. Our names are posted, our phone numbers are posted, our emails are posted, DMs. Heck, you want to walk up to my doorstep, I'll talk to you. But yet some people go to social media to distract the good things that we're doing. We're not perfect. No one in this room is perfect, but what we do is we put students and we put teachers first. And I've said this over and over. And it's not easy. It's not easy to get results. On April 14th, I challenged everyone in the city. Does anyone want to make this budget whole? I heard from some people. That's the reality. That's where we're at in this country, in this state. You know, don't turn on the news. It's terrible. But that's where we're at. You know, people are hurting. Budgets are hurting. I think we've done a really nice job of keeping key roles. And if we haven't, we've heard from important people that have, you know, talk about transparency. Today, look at this. You know, this is democracy in action. This is what we live for. This is what sets us apart from any other country in the world. Okay? Little history lesson for everyone. You can't do this in some countries. You can do this here. You can do this in Peabody. Okay? You guys swayed us. You swayed us on the second or third person speaking, but we wanted to hear from everybody. Our phone numbers are listed. DM us, email us, knock on my door. You know, I'll talk to you. Everyone here will. You know, to say that we're not transparent, to say we own this budget, of course we do. I don't love it. I don't want to cut any positions. I don't want to cut anything from our budget, but that's a reality, and that's what we sign up for. So I'm going to support this budget. If anyone has an issue with it, call me. I'll buy you coffee. I'll buy you lunch. I'm good with it. Thank you. I mean that, too. People who know me, I'll buy you lunch.
Thank you, Mr. Miko. All right, I may have to vote, so I think I have to remove myself as chair for a potential vote. I think I have to announce that. I thought I needed 4.
Through the chair, do we need 4 votes, or do we need just a majority? Ms. Dunn, I'm looking at you, I'm sorry.
I believe we need 4 votes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Olympio?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed non-salary line item in the FY27 budget in the amount of $35,038,515 as presented.
Second.
Thank you. The motion by Mr. Olympio, seconded by Mr. Miko. Any comments? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Olympio?
Yes.
Ms. Melvin?
No.
Mrs. Cox?
No.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Mayor Betancourt?
Yes.
Carries.
Can I say a few words?
Yeah.
Well, this was a very challenging and difficult budget. None of us like this. None of us think that this alone is adequate to support our students. And the appropriated budget is never enough alone to support our students. I appreciate all of those who did support the budget so that we can move forward. I understand our members that did not support the budget and the reason why, and I share a lot of sentiments on both sides. This is the important first step to move on. And we'll take the next step and go before the City Council, and we'll continue to support our students. And this summer, we'll get our federal funding through grants. And like we did this year, my team and I are committed to finding as many competitive grants as possible. This year, we got 14 competitive grants for over $2.5 million to support our students. And we will continue to do so because our kids deserve more. This is what we can do, and I'm proud to be from Peabody, and I'm proud to have all these people come before us tonight, and I'm proud to have a mayor and a school committee that are as supportive as to our children and our educators as possible. This alone is not enough, but we will do more to bring more to our kids. And I just thank you all. I know you stayed here late for a 4-hour meeting, and it was worth it, and our kids are better off for it, and our staff is better off for it, and I appreciate everyone who came out tonight, and I appreciate the mayor's support and the school committee support. So we'll begin that hard work starting tomorrow on finding those grants and getting more funding for our kids.
Thank you, Dr. Vidala. Have a motion to adjourn? Right, motion.
So moved.
So moved, seconded. Thank you, Ms. Dunn, seconded by Ms. Olympio. Unanimous. Thank you all for being here. Thank you.